It is August 1st, 2016, and this is Three Men and an Anime.
Hooray!
Yep, this is Peter Bowman, and I am joined by my co-hosts, good friends Eric Carlson and Sonic Gav Leaf. How you guys doing tonight?
Hooray!
I apologize. I've just realized I probably, right at the start of the show, I managed to pick up my incredibly noisy keyboard because I thought I'd muted my mic and it defied me.
Oh dear. Anywho, this week we are covering my most recent recommendation, the Irresponsible Captain, not the Irresponsible Captain Tylor. The word "the" is not in the front there.
There's no the.
There's no the. No. This is actually the oldest show we've actually covered on this journey through anime we've been doing.
Technically, yes.
It came out in '92, I believe. Yep, no, '93. Sorry, '93. So yeah, this is actually the oldest show we've covered so far. It's based on a series of light novels that came out actually came out in January of '89. The series doesn't cover all the light novels apparently. I've found this out very recently. I'm terrified by the fact that there's the third series of light novels. Apparently, this anime series covers the first light novel, basically, and that's it.
Just one.
So there's two more?
No, there are there are three series of novels.
Oh.
And so there's more than that. There's side stories and other stuff, but for Tylor himself, there are 9 light novels.
Damn, that's a great deal.
Yeah, I'm just looking now. There's three series, each of 3 books each.
Yep.
For basically what we've covered. Another 6 side stories, and then a further 5 side stories after that.
Yeah. I'm terrified by the title of Series 3, the first book in Series 3, The Irresponsible President Tylor.
Although, considering the third book in Series 1 is named Wang Strikes Back, that could also be a troubling one.
Yeah.
Heard of this porno.
Oh dear. Anyways, but this is covering just the anime series that exists. There are also there are several OVAs that I believe cover some of the later stuff. Cover stuff after the stuff it follows. And there's also a manga series that comes after the OVAs. There's a lot of stuff out there that I didn't know about until I started doing research on this today for the show. Like, I knew about the OVAs. I haven't watched those yet. But I didn't know about the manga series. Was unaware that it was based on a light novel series.
Yeah, I had no idea it was based on a light novel series.
So yeah, there's a lot more Tylor stuff out there than I'm most aware of. At any rate, Irresponsible Captain Tylor. This is primarily the story of a young man by the name of Justy Ueki Tylor.
Age 20.
Age 20, yes. Who, in the pilot episode, decides that he's going to join the Navy. Because, and I quote, he wants an easy life.
Yeah, apparently he doesn't understand how the military works.
No, basically...
Or he does understand how the military works during peacetime. And isn't aware of the current political situation.
Well, except that he is aware of the current political situation because he decides on it because he's bumming around being basically sort of, a bum, because that's basically what he does, because he's fundamentally lazy.
Yes.
And there's a big sort of billboard in this. It's a futuristic city. This is a sci-fi series. It's
Blade Runner.
It's totally the city from Blade Runner.
It looks a lot like it. A little bit cleaner, but not by much.
Less robots.
Yeah, yes. Not by as many as you think, Gav, though.
Not by as many as you'd think, yeah.
But anyway, so he sees this big advertisement, this big video screen of this beautiful woman basically saying, join the U.S. Join the Navy, help defend the Earth, it'll be great, etc. Going on, recruitment stuff, and Tylor goes, That'd be an easy life. So he goes to the recruiters and asks to join, and the recruiter there looks at him like he's like, so why do you want to join the Navy? I want an easy life. The guy looks at him like, wait, what? And Tyler explains, well, I means I have, food, shelter, bed to sleep in, and that makes that is all the food I'll ever need, and clothes because I get a uniform.
Yeah, he basically comes from it. I mean, he doesn't look particularly unkempt, but he comes at it from a bum's perspective. He's like, I'm not living on the streets. I get clothes, food, bed, deal.
And
it's like, okay, there's a logic there, but...
And the recruiter basically starts trying to talk, basically saying, yeah, no. And Tyler proceeds to go into this long speech about how, when I join the Navy, I'm eventually going to become famous, etc. And if you let me in, it'll be of your keen eye that'll seen through my bullshit to let me actually to see what my true talents are, and get me into the Navy. And and I'll be sure to mention you in my memoirs and all this stuff. The guys start going, wait, what's going on?
What, really? Yeah. You're an idiot, sir. Why should I let you in?
Yeah, but eventually he sort of caves and allows Tyler to at least take the tests. Mostly because lots of shit. Basically because it's become clear that a war's probably going to be happening soon, and they're going to need more people.
Yeah, they need more meat for the grinder. Yeah.
So it's like, fine, whatever, take the test. And there's a psychological test with this AI computer. Tyler has this sort of big thing put on his head for a VR thing, and this is where we sort of find out sort of a little bit more about Tyler's attitudes, because the AIs present himself as this very sort of straight-laced, dignified guy. Tyler sort of like, this is boring. Don't you have like a female avatar or something like that? Be much more I'd be more relaxed to be able to answer the questions better if I was being asked them by a pretty lady. And the AI is like, well, technically I do have one, so sure, here.
Sure, why not?
And Tyler proceeds to, as it's trying to question him, proceeds to seduce the AI.
We're not entirely certain how, but he does it.
It's not even like an active attempt to seduce. It's just he's an unstoppable flirt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He deflects every question coming in, gets deflected. Just constantly asking questions about this, this AI, this person.
Yeah, because yeah, exactly. He's asking them questions because he seems like he's actually genuinely interested in the AI. Like,
yeah, he's actively interested in the AI and its perceptions and how it feels and whatnot, which for the AI is an absolutely new experience.
Yeah, and this leads to the AI basically shorting out and going crazy.
Yeah, he goes through the stages of of a relationship. It's all of a sudden starts to like him, and then starts being friendly with him, then starts lusting over him and obsessing over him, and then obviously he's cheating on her with someone else, and then she wants to kill him. All in the space of 10 minutes.
and
goes boom.
Yeah, and goes boom.
Yeah, and then the recruitment center catches fire because the AI cooks itself. In its rage.
Yeah.
This is, by the way, episode 1.
Yes.
The thing is, though, this is where my flag started waving straight away. Because even though he's doing this, as I start to dub it Deus Ex Lucina, or Deus Ex Fortuna, while this is all going on, the AI goes boom, and it causes something along the lines of they have to reset the systems at the base or something, which enables them to detect like a hidden enemy spy or something like that. I think it's something like that. There was something going on which would have been unseen if he hadn't have done that.
Right.
And it's like, okay, I can buy that. Okay, it just so happened to be At that moment in time, he did that, and it's like, oh, he saved the day. Okay, yep,
Right.
once. Just going to happen once. That's all it's going to be, once, right? Yeah, okay.
Well, we'll get to that in a bit.
Mhm.
So Tylor gets enrolled in the military. They assign him to the pension bureau because he's an idiot. They're like, no, we're not putting you on a spaceship. That's a terrible idea.
You'll sink you'll crash the ship.
Right.
Like so here, just deliver checks. That's your job.
And
All you have to do is deliver checks.
Tylor is totally psyched by this. He's like, this is great. It's
Exactly what I wanted.
It's an easy desk job. There's no risk, and I get to help people by making sure that they get their pension money. This is great. So what's going on, sort of in the background, is it's the United
The
Planetary.
Ralgon.
It's the United Planetary Systems or something like that. I don't remember it's
something like that.
It is something like that, yeah.
And so it's humanity, and they've been at war in the past with this an alien race called the Ralgon Empire, who are they're basically human except they've got pointy ears.
Yeah.
Space elves.
Yeah.
Kinda, yeah.
United Planet Space Force, that's it.
No, that's the ship. Yeah, it's the United Planets is where they're from.
Yeah, United Planet Space Force, yeah.
So,
Not the Federation.
No, totally not the Federation.
Yeah, not the Federation at all.
No, because they're not the Federation because they definitively have an actual military that they aren't lying about. Starfleet's totally not a military organization.
No, it's not. It's there for peaceful exploration, which is why all of our ships have enough firepower to vaporize the entire surface of any planet we encounter.
Just in case.
At any rate, so yeah, I believe actually Zenith Check points out. I believe the AI also did at one point think Tylor was a spy.
Yeah,
which I think that is correct. So at any rate, Tylor, he goes off to deliver a check to this Admiral Hanner, and at this point, the Ralgon basically are sort of trying to start up the next war because, well, they've got agents on Earth and their plan is basically demoralize Earth by kidnapping their last war hero, Admiral Hanner, and holding him hostage and maybe killing him and demoralize Earth by getting rid of their old hero. Yeah. Now, the Ralgon Empire is in sort of a transitional period because the previous emperor is dead, and their new ruler is his very young daughter,
Azalin?
Azalin,
was
yes.
That
yes, Azalin's a real name. She goes by an official title most of the time, but she's like 15 at best, 16.
Gozel the 32nd or something like that.
Yeah. She's Emperor Azalin Gozel the 32nd or something. Yeah. Yeah. She is 16.
She's also not a political animal in any way, shape, or form.
Well, she's a young girl, and she's been thrust into this position of power she wasn't ready for. And her, Prime Minister, Wang, is totally not a manipulative bastard.
No, not at all. He's totally not using her to basically rule from behind the throne.
Yeah, he has no ambitions of eventually killing her and taking the throne for himself.
No, that would be ridiculous. Who would even think such a thing? Certainly not the classic evil visor and the ridiculous turban with horns.
Yeah. So at any rate, they've got the Ralgon have a couple of agents, and they take Admiral Hanner hostage. With Admiral Hanner are his two granddaughters, and visiting him at this point is a USPF officer by the name of Yuki Starr. And so there's a hostage situation. The military's outside the military and the police are outside trying to resolve it. Tylor walks up. He's like, "I've got a check to deliver to Admiral Hanner. Where is he?" And the guy in charge of the operation, Lieutenant Yamamoto's like, "Yeah, just go away. There's a hostage situation, etc." And Tyler's like, "Okay, right. I'm gonna go deliver the check now," and walks through the blockade up into the building. And Yamamoto's like, "Wait, what? But he must be an agent for the Admiralty to get in there and deal with the situation. I got it. Makes total sense.
Clearly, that must be it. No one's this stupid.
No one is that dumb."
Once again, we're going to spend a lot of time of this show watching people assuming they understand what Tyler is doing
Yes.
and being very wrong.
Right. So Tyler walks in and gets himself taken hostage immediately. Admiral Hanner's living in really reduced circumstances.
Yeah, he's basically living in squalor.
It's this rundown little tiny apartment. He's this old man. He's wheelchair bound, and
there's not much more than like a sleeping mat on the floor, and that's about it.
Yeah, it's this tiny little apartment. And one of the things we find out eventually is, and I think we find out in this episode, is one of the things the Ralgon admired Hanner because they're like, okay, this dude, he won the war for Earth, and he was awesome. He's a legitimate hero for them.
Right.
And they're kind of disgusted by how he's being treated by the military at this point because this is somebody who should be like revered and have this live his old age out in comfort.
Yeah, the Ralgon have a kind of really like warrior race, warrior pride kind of deal going on.
Yep.
At the same time as the majority of them being stupid and bloodthirsty or underhanded bastards.
So they're Klingons.
Yeah, they're actually there's a distinct Klingon sort of air to them.
There's a feel to them. Yeah. I'd say they're a little bit more subtle than Klingons.
Some Klingons are pretty fucking subtle.
Yeah.
I mean, just
let's
look
not
at
forget Gowron here.
Let's not forget Gowron. The Duras family are pretty fucking subtle. They lost, but they were subtle.
They try to be subtle. They're not very good at it.
Well, no.
No. They read a book once. They thought it was good.
But Gowron was definitively subtle, and there are a few other ones.
Yeah.
Kempek was pretty subtle too.
Yeah.
At any rate, irrelevant.
Yeah. At any rate, yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, Tyler through dumb fuck bullshit luck, honestly.
Again.
This is the most bullshit he basically gets, honestly, in terms of just him like completely fucking everything up and yet coming out on top. Saves the Admiral. And during all this, he's despite all this, he's actually being very nice to everybody, like the hostage takers included. And Yuriko has caught his eye. He's yeah. Sorry, it's Yuriko. She's caught his eye as has the Admiral's granddaughters. They're all very cute, and Tyler is, I think, physically incapable of not flirting with pretty women. I think it's like actually a condition he has.
Yeah, he does kind of have to flirt with everybody.
But he managed to defuse the situation and get everybody out of it alive. Through
bullshit.
Bullshit, yeah. Honestly.
Rather amusing bullshit, but bullshit.
Yeah, this is one of the ones that sticks with me because it's like it's the sort of bullshit where we're supposed to believe that he's he basically gets by on wit and talking his way out of it. But no, this one he was legitimately dead to rights and the gun jammed.
Yeah. Now
he caused enough of a distraction for Yuriko to actually disarm one of the men because she's a soldier.
Yep.
She disarms one of the men, takes the initiative. It's all cool. They're both down. Tyler picks the gun up and hands it back.
Yeah, that's the one
because he's being nice. He's like, "Oh, you dropped this."
Now,
no one's that dumb.
No. I will say this.
Yeah.
This is a funny scene. It's I laughed, but I agree with Gav. This particular scene was not very believable.
Yeah.
But he has become the hero of the day, and Yamamoto's called back to Admiralty to ask about what the agency said. And they said, we didn't send anybody in. He's like, wait, what? Oh, God, he is an idiot.
But the problem is that when they get the report from Yuriko, and it's like, well, technically, yes, he did defuse the situation. He did come in and solve this issue. And they're like, oh, so he must be like good.
Also, the admiral took a liking to him, and
Yeah,
Yeah,
the Admiral really likes.
yeah.
and despite the fact he's living in a crappy place and such, and it seems that a large part of it is just honestly bureaucratic crap has got in the way of him getting to the right place.
Well, from what I understand, that the whole point of it is that he wasn't getting his pension checks.
Right.
That's
Yeah.
why Tyler was there. He wasn't receiving his pension.
Right. So it wasn't intentional by the U.S. UPS, the Planetary Space Force's part. It literally, the admiral moved. They didn't have the correct address for him. His checks didn't get to him, so he had no money. And later on, shortly after this, he ends up in a very nice retirement home afterwards.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he still has significant pull with people with the higher ups in the military because hero of the last war thing, and he likes Tyler. So the next episode, Tyler is we see this Yamamoto, who was important there, gets promoted to this is where he gets promoted to lieutenant, I believe, and is assigned as first officer of this destroyer, the Soyokaze, and he's assigned there as first officer. He starts giving his speech about how everything's going to be run properly and such. Yuriko is there also. She's right underneath Yamamoto. Rank.
Yeah, she's basically intel.
She's their intel officer on the ship, and they're waiting for the new captain. And the crew are
Special.
Yeah, they all the Marines are all sort of looking at each other. Yeah, he doesn't understand how things are run on this ship. We'll make sure he finds out. And which point, and Yamamoto's sitting there, and then Tyler comes walking onto the ship, having gotten, it's like, oh, he's been assigned to the ship. Well, okay, he was a hero. People looked at him, see him as something of a hero. Of course, he's going to actually be bumped out of Biodeath ship and be put on a ship. Yamamoto's like, great, this is brilliant. I'll be able to deal with him, and he'll be working under me, and maybe he'll be able to maybe he'll be possibly I don't know what's he's like, this is great. He'll have to listen to me. And Yuriko's sitting there thinking, okay. She doesn't say anything at this point. That's right. And so Yamamoto goes up to him and starts giving instructions saying, when the captain gets here and all this stuff. And Tyler's like, yep, okay. So you're the first officer ship. Great. That's awesome for you, man. I love that. You deserve it. Oh, yeah, by the way, you're waiting for the captain. Oh, yeah, right. Here, hands Yamamoto a letter. And it's the letter promoting, Tyler to lieutenant
Tyler to
commander.
be captain.
To the captain of the ship.
Cue Yamamoto's first coronary.
He does have a lot. He's very much dude's got a tungsten rod shoved way up his ass.
He's got. I'm pretty sure he's got a. What do they call it? What are them little pods they have? Sensory deprivation pod. In his room. He sleeps in a confinement. The whole cut the outside world kind of thing. At least it looks like it. Don't blame him.
Yeah. And so, Tyler comes in, gives his speech about how, we're all going to get along. And, honestly, the way I'm planning on handling things, just do what you want, guys. I don't care. And, Yamamoto's like, what?
But you can't do that. And everyone else is like, you do realize that this ship is a dumping ground of rejects, right?
And Tyler, yeah, and which brings up the point once that's revealed. Why is Yuriko here? And she's actually specifically asked for this assignment because she knew Tyler was being assigned to captain, and she saw something in Tyler that maybe he could actually be molded into something resembling an actual officer, maybe. And she basically, he's obviously been chosen for this. The admiral liked him. I'm going to do my best to help him be better as a captain because she knows he's going to be a disaster out of the box.
Yeah.
Right.
Plus the ship would have detonated before it left space dock.
Probably. And from this point on, we actually go into this is the bit. I want to get onto the actual talk about the characters now, but I want to talk a bit about the first few episodes about where we're getting to for the majority of the show, which is
Yeah.
the majority of the show is following Tyler and the crew of the destroyer Soyokaze.
Yes.
Which, as Eric pointed out, is the ship they basically the Space Forces just assigns the people they just can't deal with. Like, no, you guys, no, go. These are people who
Can't quite justify court-martialing you or drumming you out, but we are going to stick you on the worst ship possible.
a ship.
Yeah,
it's an old.
it's a case of
Right, go, Gav. Sorry.
Sorry, it's one of those cases where look, you'd be a pain in the ass for any actual captain. So here, you all deserve each other.
Right.
Yeah.
And they're putting them on an old destroyer that they don't give a crap about. And if it gets blown up, great. We lose all these people. They die in action. If it accomplishes stuff, great. Whatever.
The odd thing is though, a lot of these guys, a lot of these crew members are actually really good at what they do.
Yeah, that's.
Yeah. They just refuse to to obey the rules.
Yeah, Eric very early on sort of asked the question. Okay, so these people are obviously just like they're incapable of being like in a normal military. They must be good at their jobs, very good at jobs. Otherwise, they'd have been court-martialed
Or dead.
Yes. Or dead. In particular, the Marines who seem to mutiny every other day out of boredom.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The first time we meet them is their traditional leaving space dock fight with the flight crews. With the fighter pilots, Marines versus Air Force. The only problem is there's only like one fucking fighter pilot on the ship and about 30 Marines.
The Marines are all wearing power armor.
And they come in power armor, yeah.
So, yeah, we should talk a bit about the characters, though. And I do want to start off with, we have to start off with Tyler, because, he's the star of the show, and he's our main
titular character, if it will.
Yes. Tyler, as you're seeing, there's actually a lot of debate in the show amongst characters, and among a lot of fans of the show, about whether Tyler is a complete fucking moron who is so lucky that he just skates by in life constantly and nothing ever that's what it is, or if he's actually a lot smarter than he lets on. And there are elements of both, I think. He is definitively.
Yeah, I'll agree with that. He's definitely smarter than he lets on, but he's got the devil's own luck. Shit just works out for him without him trying.
Yep.
I think for me, and I said this, it's more of a final thoughts kind of thing, is this, but for me, Tyler very much feels like a character they started writing before they realized what they wanted him to be. Because the result we get by the end, and again, I won't go too far into it because obviously that's for final thought, but by the time we get to the character at the end, what he is and how he operates is very much more defined, and I don't think it's just character growth, because he's in a compass, so to speak. His morals haven't changed all that much.
Right.
But at the start, the writing, like I said, Deus Ex Fortuna. He just gets out of things because he has to.
Right.
And it just seems like, he's cursed and charmed at the same time.
Yeah, he's got sort of a weird luck thing going for him. But he does have some strong points, even if he is an idiot. And there are parts there are things he just doesn't understand, and large part of that is and significant chunks of that it's stuff he doesn't care about, so he doesn't try to understand it. And he doesn't get the military, like military discipline and stuff. It's just like it's things he's like, yeah, I don't. Why does that matter?
Yeah, it's not so much that he doesn't get military discipline, so much as he doesn't see the point of it.
Right.
Yeah. Which is, again, that's something we find out that first, he comes onto the ship and says, do what you like.
Right.
Which instantly causes the Marines to go tear-assing through the ship. It's like, oh, okay, I suppose that's not a great idea, but, they're having fun.
Yeah.
and then basically Star does what she does. She reins him in, saying, they're going to wreck the ship. He's like, okay, fine, I received the captain's order. You can't do what you want.
Well, he never doesn't fully rescind it either. Is the thing.
Yeah.
No, but he does basically take.
Just don't. He
little,
basically goes,
yeah.
don't mutiny or wreck the ship.
Yeah, try and get along.
At any rate, so he does have some strong points to him, which are, first off, as we said, he's charming as hell.
Yes.
Like, almost everybody who talks to him for any period of time ends up liking him. There are a few exceptions. There are people he drives completely bonkers, and we'll get to them. And a lot of people basically just seem incapable of, like, going against what he's saying. The only person who really is able to sort of cut through what he's saying and just sort of, not be charmed into doing what he wants is Yuriko.
Yeah, basically sees right through all his bullshit.
Yeah, because she saw it right from the start.
Yeah.
Right.
Whereas everyone else has basically gone, okay, this is the captain of a ship. The fuck? Well, I guess he knows what he's doing.
Right.
Does he?
Right. Yamamoto saw him at the beginning also, but he is so straight-laced that he can't go against the captain's orders. He's not wired that way.
Yeah, he's incapable. He says he comes from a strict military family. Therefore, somebody outranks him, he must obey.
Right.
Clearly, what has happened is the brass, in its infinite wisdom, has seen something that I don't in this man. I trust the hierarchy because I have to. My entire worldview explodes if I don't.
Right. So he's charming. He genuinely likes people, and is genuinely curious about who they are and what they like and all this stuff. And he's constantly he tries to get to know everybody in the ship as the show goes along. And by generally just being a nice, normal guy who likes talking to people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We see him quite often just socializing and usually drinking with half the crew.
Right.
And it's like, yeah, okay, this guy is the captain, but only by rank. He just wanders around. It's like, hey.
Right. And the crew is, for a good chunk of the shows, just baffled by him. Utterly and completely baffled by him. What the hell is going on? There are a few people in the ship who are not actually completely thrown by him. One of them is the doctor. But we'll get to it. So the doctor basically gets Tylor. And the admiral's granddaughters have joined the military, and the admiral's basically made sure they went with Tylor because they like Tylor, and he likes and trusts Tylor, and he trusts Tylor to look after his granddaughters.
Yeah.
Which is less stupid than it sounds at first.
Yeah, it's one of those
things.
It
does initially seem pretty fucking stupid.
Yes.
You do realize, for all his faults, I'll give him credit, Tylor is actually a very caring person when it comes to other people.
Yep.
Yes.
He really does actually have... he's a very compassionate person. He just comes about things in a very blunt and usually idiotic way.
All right, so so Tylor, he is probably smarter than he lets on. Nice, charming, a good talker.
If it's the same Tylor at the start that it is at the end, then definitely he's far smarter than he lets on.
Yeah, and I do think that is mostly true. And there are hints of that as they go along if you're looking for them. And as Eric said, he has the devil's own luck. He really does. He is fundamentally a lucky person. Oh, he's also lazy.
He's everything you'd want to be in life. Basically, he's a fucking bard.
Yes. I would say the next most important character we have to talk about is Lieutenant Commander Yuriko Star.
Yeah.
She's the
ship's mom.
Yeah, she's the ship's mom, but she's also the grounding point because pretty much everyone on the rest of the ship that has a voice, they're not quite all there. Like you said, Yamamoto is ruled by his own strict.
Keep on going, guys. I need to take this.
Okay.
Okay. Yamamoto's, ruled by his strict, upbringing. He has to obey the military, even though he knows what's going on around him. He's batshit insane. He's also equally as mad by just rolling with it because it's the way things are done.
Right.
There's the guys in the Marines, like the actual commanders of the Marines, that they command a military unit themselves. But at the end of the day, fuck it, whatever. We get to just piss around and have a fight every now and again. Great. And then the rest of the bridge crew, for example, we'll get to them in a minute. The navigator and the communications officer, for at least the start of the show, basically just keep to themselves and they're like, whatever. This is cool. He knows our names. Whatever.
They seem perfectly normal and like, why are they on this ship?
Yeah. But Star is the only one that's actually using her head and saying, look, you're doing this wrong. This is completely ass backwards. You're being a dick. You're being lazy. You're being a liability.
Okay, that wasn't what I thought. Let's go back.
But you are still in charge, so I'll give you the benefit of the doubt, unless you go too far.
Yep. So she's much like Yamamoto, she's career military, and she's a good officer. She does things by the book if she can.
Far more flexible than Yamamoto, though.
Well, the big thing is
Yes.
that she is entirely willing to tell Tylor when he's doing something wrong.
Yes.
Yamamoto's like, Tyler does something. Yamamoto's like, he's the captain. I can't go against him. And Yuriko's like, no, Captain, no, you can't do that.
Yeah, and if Star Trek has shown us anything, that makes Yamamoto a terrible first officer.
Yes.
Honestly, by like a lot, sort of the general sort of assumption that part of the the job of the first officer is to question the captain's orders and to play devil's advocate for him. Yuriko's is actually generally serves as more of the actual first officer than Yamamoto does.
Yeah.
She really does, honestly.
So she's and there are there aren't a lot of women on the show, but every single female character on the ship, Tylor. I mean, as I said, Tylor flirts with any pretty woman he ever runs into. He can't help it. But it's pretty clear from pretty much the get-go that he is most interested in Yuriko, partially because she's so different from other women he's met.
You kind of get the impression really early on, and I'll give credit to the writing here, because we all know that that guy who that friend, one friend that will literally every word out of his mouth to a girl is, it's a flirt, it's a joke, it's a wink, nothing intended. It's just how he is. With this, Tylor they do a really good job with him of he's happy to be friendly and a little bit flirty and a little bit playful with all the female members of the crew, but you can tell there's something there with Yuriko.
Yep.
It's a little bit more with her. Because he doesn't go quite so far, he actually holds himself back, and he's always the suggestions and hints that he makes towards her are more for a I wouldn't say for the era early 90s, more of a domestic situation, where he's like with the really pretty ones, the single girls and all that sort of stuff. He's like, oh, I'd love to take you out and all these sort of things, or we should go hit the bar or something stupid, and with Yuriko, it's like, yeah, I'd really like to, grow old with a girl like you, or I wish I'd have met you, when I was back at home. I could be set up with a family by now, and all that kind of thing. His focus is slightly different with her.
Yep. And also, again, there's also that fact that she is the only person who calls him out on anything, which I think he finds interesting. Because she is, as I said, she's unlike anybody else he's interacted with. Because he basically can charm his way through anything with anyone else. He can't with Yuriko, and that's very different for him.
Okay, sorry, that just explains. So I've just been reading the wiki. That does explain her. So yeah, she is actually senior to Yamamoto. She's actually the second highest rank on the ship, but because she's the intel officer, she's outside the ship's hierarchy.
Ah, right, that makes sense. Okay. At any rate, so oh crap, my headset's running out of juice. At any rate, so we have there we go. Uh, the next character I want to talk about is the Doctor because he's awesome.
The Doctor is every. I mean, we've seen this Doctor. He
Yeah,
was in. He was in Yamato.
he is a lot like Sato. Yes.
Yeah, I mean, he's a very stereotypical. I mean, the reason he's on this ship, he's potentially one of the, in his own words, he is the best surgeon in the Navy when he's drunk.
Yeah, he is. Sato is a heavy drinker. The Doctor is a full-blown alcoholic.
Yeah.
And he is yes, yeah, naval surgeon Kitaguchi. He's got his own private stash of booze because of course he does. He's this sort of tall, older-looking guy with a full beard and glasses and this sort of skull cap that he wears all the time. Apparently, he is much younger than he looks. He's in his 30s apparently, and this surprises people. Still the oldest person on the ship apparently.
I can believe that, yeah.
And then we've got so the Doctor. He is probably the most laid back person on the ship, other than Tylor. Like the Marines are laid back, but they're still Marines.
Yeah.
Uh,
They're about as laid back as you can be when half your crew are, walking around with chainsaws.
Right. Sorry, guys. I had to drop off unexpectedly there.
That's fine.
No worries, dude. Yeah, so the Marines are about as laid back as you can be when you're running around with chainsaws and knives and guns, fully loaded guns, and firing them at random intervals because you can.
Yep.
Yes. Because why wouldn't you?
Right. So the Doctor is very laid back. He's pretty much the person who gets Tylor the best early on. Like Tylor doesn't befuddle him the way he does most of the other people on the ship.
Yeah. He's the one that takes the best stance because he from just the way he is, everyone else is. It's a military ship. Everyone else is proactive. They have to work out what's going on. What's this? What's this? The Doctor just goes.
One of the things I like about the Doctor is he actually comes right out and says, "Listen, I work better when I'm drunk, and Tyler's the only guy that's ever let me drink on the job."
Yeah. But yeah,
I don't freak out about making mistakes after a couple drinks in me, and that means I don't make as many mistakes. So,
but yeah, he's happy to just sit back, let the madness unfold for a bit, and then get a feel on who this captain is, rather than just trying to work everything out and actively be like, oh, so he meant to do that, did he? I don't know. What's doing? What? Why are we doing this? And he just goes along with the flow.
Yeah. Yep. He's like, who needs stitches? No one? All right, I'm going back to my drink.
Yeah.
I think we should probably next we got to talk about the Marines because they're constantly a show and they are fucking hilarious.
The Marines are my favorite character, and they are a single character gestalt character.
one last thing about the Doctor that I actually really liked is they make a point of he never drinks out of anything that resembles an actual glass.
That's also true. Yes,
true.
We see him drinking from bowls. We see him at one point drinking out of a box.
Yes.
Never a glass.
Yep. So the Marines are led by First Lieutenant Anderson and Master Sergeant Cryborn. Cryborn is this giant dude with a mohawk and a scarred face, and his battle armor is pink, unlike all the rest of the Marines who have yellow battle armor.
because they're all
Yeah,
made of pink.
the Space Marines and their battle mechs all wear, they're all bright yellow, bright pink.
Yes.
Because, yes.
And the Marines don't pay attention to uniforms. They basically dress like Mad Max extras.
Yeah, well, except for the guy who's dressed like Jason.
Except for the guy who dresses like Jason.
There's a guy in a hockey mask with a chainsaw running around. I'm pretty sure Chuck Norris is one of the Marines.
Yeah. As an aside, the dude with the hockey mask and chainsaw, his name is Jason.
Yes.
He's also a giant sweetheart.
Oh, yeah. He might be the nicest of the Marines.
He's probably the nicest of the Marines. He's kind of pretty much the avatar of their nice side.
I'm pretty sure the pink tippy cup with the teddy bear on it was his.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes. Absolutely.
But yeah, the Marines, the background Marines take a lot of inspiration from either other characters in anime, other characters in in real movies, shall we say, or just real life. And there are some real characters on this. It focuses mostly on the two commanders, and then as an extension, those guys.
Yep.
But the whole crew, I mean, like you say, you get to know Jason just because he's in so many scenes. You notice him all the time. He gets a couple of lines, and people talk to him like a conversation.
Yes.
Usually tell him to go fuck himself, but,
Well, that's pretty much how everyone refers to the Marines that aren't the Master Sergeant or the dropship pilot.
Yeah. Well, there's one great scene where, it's that whole thing about these tough guys, and there's one scene later on, without spoiling, there's a decision, shall we say, on the ship, okay? And what it is, they're trying to decide yes or no. Or the one way or the other, and so in true Marine style, they've set up like a mini dartboard with a left and a right, and they're all just whipping knives at it to try and find out which is the best way. And they're all so caught up with just trying to find out this answer that Cryburn gets so pissed off he shoots up the sign, and they all go nuts, like, "Dude, what are you doing? Now we'll never know." And it's like, "Why did you shoot my knife?
That was my favorite knife, dude!
My favorite knife. What did my knife do to you?"
The Marines are hilarious.
The other bit where they're doing I know we'll get to it. I don't want to spoil all their bits, but the bit where they're all again, another huge serious thing going on out in the real world, so to speak, and they're in their little bunk, pulling out fucking dandelions, going, "He will, he won't, he will, he won't, he will, he won't, he will," and the entire one are just crowded behind them, waiting for the result. And when it gets to "he won't," somebody pulls out another fucking flower.
Goes back to the actual plot. Comes back to the Marines. They're still sitting there with the friggin' dandelion. You look over in the corner. There's a 8-foot cubic mountain of dandelion petals.
I think it's actually a daisy, but yeah.
Daisy,
Yeah.
sorry, I meant daisy, but yeah, they're just plucking daisies for fucking hours.
I don't know the difference between flowers. Can you eat them? No, I don't care.
Yeah, the Marine. So the big thing we're really introduced with the Marines is their traditional welcoming for a new captain on the Soyokaze. Especially ones that they generally haze the captains unless they think they're going to be a problem. And it's I get the feeling it's sort of a test on top of because they deliver to Yamamoto and Tylor a present in a box, and when you open the box, it's a bomb.
Oh. Yes.
That explodes.
Oh yeah, but as funny as these guys are, they are all legitimate badasses.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, they're all legitimate badasses, and they are kind of psychopathic.
Yeah. And
like
so
they have an argument over what something's going to be. So this argument instantly devolves into a powered armored firefight throughout the hangar bay.
Right. That I mentioned a moment ago when they stop crying about accidentally shooting his knife, it turns into a straight up fight.
Yes.
So
right, Jason thinks they're arguing about that because he wasn't in the room at the time.
Right. So
he's the one that has to explain it to Yamamoto.
So Yamamoto opens his box, and it blows up, and it doesn't kill him. I forget exactly how he survives. This is like episode 4.
Yeah.
And he
Because
he ends up going to the doctor. Tylor doesn't open his box immediately. He sort of just has it there. And they are before he even thinks about opening it, a Railgun ship shows up and basically, it's there to blow them up. And Tyler's reaction, and basically says, "Okay, yeah, it's a cruiser. We're a destroyer. We're currently not in great shape. We can't jump away for reasons. We surrender."
Might give up.
And of course, everyone
he literally
freaks.
Jar Jars it.
Yeah, and
everyone's like, what? No, you must fight to the end. That's dumb. I'm going to preserve what resources we have. We can't win this.
And so the Railgun captain's like, what? Okay.
Yeah, that warrior culture thing again. They go, what do you mean they give up? You mean there's no fight?
So he comes over to talk to the captain, and they have a little chat, and there's all this fighting that's been going on between the Marines and the pilot crew, the flight crews and such, and all this stuff's going on. And Tylor basically is, and he explains to the Railgun captain, he's a new captain, and the Railgun captain is basically, basically quickly surmises that Tylor is an idiot. But as someone that is willing to ask questions and is willing to learn, and the guy's like, yeah, fine. So he basically gives, his 3 points on, his three sort of things like, a captain and a military needs to have in order to be successful. Part of it is, no infighting. I forget what the second one was, and the third one is, luck, basically. And he's sort of talking about it, and so he's talking about it. You see Tylor sort of talking about this, talking about this loudly in front of, the Marines who are there because they've come storming the bridge because they're freaked out because Tylor surrendered. And, the crew, and they're all sitting there going, wait, the Railgun commander, who's apparently a talented guy, basically said, and it's pretty debatable that, I think it's pretty clear Tylor is sort of using this situation to basically tell the crew to knock it off.
Yeah.
The Marines instantly, upon realizing they're learning something, go on a rampage.
Yes. How dare you try to teach us?
Well, none of them realize that Tyler's that. What they don't see it as what Tylor is doing. They're just going, oh, wow,
yeah.
We're kind of being dumb about that, aren't we? And so Tylor sits there talking, and the Marines are all staring at the box because they're like, why is it still on the bridge? And so the captain basically the captain demands his demand for the surrender is to hand over all the data they've got on the deployments of the fleet. Tylor agrees, no problem, and they're all freaked out by this. And so the captain takes the thing, goes off, and says, "Oh, by the way, as a thank you for your wonderful lesson and all this such, here," he hands him the captain the box, and the Marines all stare at him like, "Wait, what?"
Does he know?
Dash clever of him.
Did he figure it out? He hasn't opened it. How does he know?
And so the Railgun commander flies back to his ship, opens the box, blows himself up. The shuttle crashes the ship. It blows up, and our heroes survive, taking out the cruiser. And the Marines are all like, and everyone's like, wait, what? Did Tylor just
Is that deliberate?
And they ask him, and he's like, "Oh, no, I had no idea it was in the box. I got lucky there."
Yeah, excellent. Now we don't have to actually surrender. We won.
See, and again, back to my issue, man. If he's lying to the crew there, and he's again just playing dumb, great. If he's being legit, he didn't have a clue. He was literally just selling the secrets of the military to them, gave them a fucking going away present, and then was basically going to get blown out of the sky anyway. And he just looked out of it. Fuck you.
To be fair, it's not like they're going to have a lot of secrets on there anyway. It's an outdated destroyer crewed by misfits and fuck-offs. They're not going to have a lot of terribly sensitive information.
So yeah, that's sort of the Marines. That was what the Marines their welcome is. So Tyler has now the Soikaze has now taken out a cruiser, and so as a reward, apparently, they are assigned a new nurse, who's the next character I want to talk about, Nurse Harumi. Harumi is like, so she arrives in the ship. Her little landing thing lands on the ship. She walks out of the little thing in a spacesuit. You know, they repressurize her. She takes it off, and like, everyone's going, okay, who's this person that's being assigned the ship as a reward? And she takes it off, and she's this stunningly gorgeous woman. And the Marines are all like, oh my god, oh my god.
Yeah, the Marines are instantly like, okay, so we're all going to sleep with her, or at least try to, because she's beautiful and we are instantly in love. Like I said, the Marines are Gestalt.
Yeah, they are.
To be fair, we get to the point where, what is she? She's a nurse.
Yep.
Dude, punch me.
Yeah. I mean, there aren't a lot of women on the ship, but they're all attractive. But basically, almost none of them are willing to give the Marines the time of day. They're officers for the most part.
Yeah.
Right.
Except
this is the thing. To be fair to them, and they did well with this. Okay. The officers don't give them the time of day. The Marines give them the odd comment every now and again, but it's officer versus Marine. Don't worry about it. The two young girls, the Marines, stay away. There's none of that with the Marines because they're young girls. They're girls, not women.
Right.
And Harumi is the first woman of age, so to speak, a civilian at that.
That's not an officer.
Exactly. Yeah. So I wouldn't say civilian, sorry, but not an officer, basically. And the Marines go fucking nuts.
Right. But they're being very sort of cute and
childish
about it.
Yeah, they're not being they're not being creepers about it. They're being sort of adorably incompetent.
Yes.
If you've ever seen it, it's high school. It's Japanese high school anime when there's a hot nurse.
Yep.
Yes.
All the boys suddenly get a stomach cramp and go sit outside the nurse's office.
Yep. And so yeah, that's the Harumi is. So she's this very attractive woman. Seems like a complete sweetheart. She's very interested in Tyler because he's not like anybody she's met before. And she spent some time trying to figure him out. We very quickly find out what her actual deal is, though. Harumi is actually a Railgun spy.
Yes.
Who was sent to the who they arranged to have be the nurse sent to the ship after the Soyokaze took out the cruiser, because one of the captains, Captain Dom, who is one of the most awesome characters in the show.
Yep.
Yeah, Captain Dom's actually pretty cool.
Dom is
or a space elf in his stupid turban with horns.
He doesn't have horns on his turban.
Oh, you're right. He doesn't have horns.
Oh, okay. He's a nice turban.
So he's a youngish captain. He's a captain, and he is a very staunch loyalist to Aslan.
Yes.
And
the problem is he's relatively low rank. So although he's a captain of a ship, it's not the most prestigious of ships. At least not to start off with, anyway. And you get the impression that he doesn't have the ear of the Admiralty.
Well, the admiral that we see, the guy with the eye patch, he seems to be one of his favorites.
Yeah.
Yeah, but in the general politicking of the Ralgon council, so to speak.
Oh, he should have zero influence.
Yeah, he knows he can see what's going on, but yeah.
Except Aslan has taken a liking to him. She finds him very easy to talk to. She values his advice.
And a lot of that is because when we first are introduced to Aslan, she's giving a rousing political speech, and then she leaves the stage, goes around the corner, and starts breaking down because her dad just died, and she has to put on this brave front.
Right.
And Dom just stumbles across her and very pointedly ignores that she's upset and crying and treats her with all the respect that she's due and not like a little girl crying. And she's like, I like this guy. I like this guy a lot. This guy is now in my inner circle.
And she tries her best as well to, like, you know, how dare you see me like this? And, you know,
I didn't see anything.
what are you on about? I didn't see a thing. You're the Empress. She's like, oh, thank you.
Well,
no, I'm the Empress. I can't thank you. No.
Well, the other thing is he does. If I remember correctly, he also makes the point that even if I did see something, if I had seen something, it's perfectly natural for a young girl to be upset by the fact that her father died.
Yeah, and that's another thing. And he's like the only person there that even admits that she is also a young girl. Everyone else just sees the Empress.
You know, he sees a young girl who is also the Empress. He sees both.
Yes.
Wang sees the young girl he can manipulate.
Yes.
Wang really should have a mustache for himself to twirl, honestly.
Or at least a long, thin goatee that he can stroke, you know?
Yeah.
He's definitely missing the evil facial hair department.
Yeah. But at any rate, so Wang basically says, okay, so the ship, the Soyokaze, took out our cruiser. And I have to find out more about this captain, because that shouldn't have been possible.
Wang is the Prime Minister, I believe.
Yes, he is.
Yeah, so the Empress gives the orders, he makes them happen.
In theory, yes.
Yeah, well, yeah.
He is constantly basically, you know, manipulating her to give the orders he wants. Basically by saying, you know, this is what we need to go to war. Like, for instance, we have to go to war with the United Federation planet, with Earth, because it's quite possible they were behind the Emperor's sudden death. You know, he basically she's very clear she doesn't want to go to war. She's not. This is not. She's sussed out this is a bad time to go to war, and she's right in a lot of ways.
Except he's then in their ear saying, well, if you don't go to war now, you'll lose the confidence of the people, and you might have a revolt on your hands.
Right. Meanwhile, you see Dom and the eye patch admiral sort of looking and going, oh, fuck. This is not good. We don't have enough intel on Earth right now.
Yeah. And at the same point, it's the same sort of, like you say, that warrior society. They can't call out the Prime Minister there and then in front of the entire council.
Right.
It's just not done.
And also, they're not sure that they have no reason to assume he's doing anything nefarious. They just think it's a bad idea. But so Dom basically says, okay, fine. I need to get intel. This is a new captain who just did something that shouldn't have been possible. I need to find out more about this guy. So he signs Harumi to the ship. And so Harumi, it's very clear that she's trying to find out everything she can about Tylor. And, you know, again, it's an attractive woman. Tylor can't help but flirt with her.
Yeah.
But again, he spends a lot of time trying to figure out who she is, you know, all this stuff, you know, what she's up to and all this stuff. And so things progress, and I don't want to go into an episode by episode replay, sort of, you know, thing. There's sort of arcs I want to talk about within the show. This is a 26 episode long show, and unsurprisingly, given the era it came out, that was sort of the norm back then. And if we talk about every episode, it'll take forever.
Just give me a sec. I think we've dropped Eric.
Well, we'll keep going. Eric will pop back in.
Okay.
At any rate, so yeah. So Harumi is eventually Dom decides that I try to remember exactly when this happens. Basically there's Tylor again has another moment of luck, and causes a Ralgon attack fleet to to basically something to go wrong with the railgun attack, and Dom decides, okay, yeah, he's got to go. Harumi, if you should probably kill him. I remember actually now exactly what it was. It's specifically Harumi basically tells Dom, like, I can't get a read on this guy. I have no idea. I can't tell you anything useful about him. And Dom's like, okay, well, if you haven't got anything, I trust you as a competent spy. If you can't figure him out like this right now, either he's just an idiot, or got lucky, or
he's the greatest tactical military mind in the world, in the universe.
Either way, you should probably take him out. If you can kill him, he's not really if you can kill him, then he's clearly not someone I need to be worried about. If you can't kill him, then keep reporting on him. Do it subtle though. So she spends an episode trying to kill Tylor. And this is during the episode where they're setting up for a beauty pageant on the ship, because of course they are.
Yeah, because the Marines managed to convince Tylor that the one of the best ways they could have to blow some steam and all the rest of it would be to have a beauty contest.
And Tylor goes, well, yes, this is brilliant.
Yeah.
And so she does she has a wonderful assassination attempt where the Marines have been building the stage thing, and she sets up some monofilament wire to cut the supports and drop it on Tylor. And as it's falling, the ship's pilot basically pulls out a nail gun and sort of a rivet gun and basically shoots it at range and nails him to the out of the thing, saving Tylor's life by his jacket. And and so he doesn't die there. And eventually she sort of sneaks into Tylor's room with a knife and tries to kill him. Except that he wasn't sleeping in his bed, so he was sleeping on the floor. And she basically tries to kill him several times in that scene. And Tylor basically, avoids the knife strikes, and ties her up. And she basically sort of gets frustrated, and she's like, eventually decides she has to kill herself, but she's failed to kill him. And Tylor is like, no, don't do that. I mean, why would no? And she's like, well, I mean. She's like, do you know what I am? He said, yeah, you're a spy. And she's like, when did you figure it out? Well, I kind of figured it out a while ago.
Yeah, this is that thing where, it's like, okay, so if you knew about it a while ago, and it's that whole, actually, he is smarter than he looks. But this is the thing, it's that whole thing about, he likes people. He likes to get to know them. He likes to find out what they like to do, who they are. And her story wasn't checking out.
Right.
Even those little things, he does pay attention. He's a complete lazy git, but he pays attention. People matter to him.
Right. And so he talks to, he's basically considers like, look, I know, yeah, you're a spy. You're a Ralcon spy. So, and you were ordered to kill me. Fine. That I prefer you didn't. Why don't you just keep reporting? And you're assigned to report, trying to find out things about me. So go. Fine, do that. Why? That's not a problem. And if you need be, fib about stuff, and you can always kill me later.
That offer.
And she's like, why? Because you're a nice person and I like you. You've made the ship a better place by being here. I don't want that to go away. And she's like, what? Okay. And at some point, I forget when exactly, they sort of drop hints that she's not human. I mean, she's a Ralgon spy. She's clearly not human. She's actually an android, and this becomes important later.
Thankfully, she's not a beep boop. This does not compute type android. She's not a data. She doesn't have a couple of moments where she gets a couple of moments a little bit later on where she's trying to understand human emotion, all that kind of stuff. But she's deliberating it as a person, whether whether she's interpreting the feelings that she's got as a real as what she thinks it is, not fucking the Star Trek bullshit. You know what I mean? It's not. Is this the human feeling they call love? It's like no. It's like, what the hell's going on? Why can't I do this? Why can't I kill him? I shouldn't be able to do this.
Right.
Yeah.
She's an interesting character because of that. And I mean, she's more sort of more akin to the replicants from Blade Runner in some ways, but she's definitively an android.
Yes.
She's not human. She doesn't need. But she's also definitely an android. She doesn't have to breathe.
Yes.
This becomes important later. But yeah, so she's and she becomes sort of she's in a lot of ways sort of the heart and soul of the ship in a lot of ways, because everybody likes her eventually, because she's not just the hot chick. She's also a competent nurse, and she's a very skilled nurse, and is genuinely nice to everybody, because that's part of it, because it's part of her cover. And Tylor does a really good job at keeping her secret.
Yeah. Well, I mean, even later on in the series, when everyone finds out, everyone's kind of cool with it, because they've realized that Tyler's been cool with it for so long. They're all like, "Wait, you're a spy?" She's like, "Yeah. The captain know? Yeah. Fine, fuck it, whatever."
So yeah, and after that, I mean,
there's the two bridge officers who are decidedly more one note. I'll say they each get I say they each get the female officer, Kim.
Yep.
Is it Kim? Yeah, Lieutenant Kim. She gets a bit of an episode where basically she convinces Tyler to allow the officers to allow the crew to wear what they like, because fair enough.
She specifically says she convinced them to let them not wear uniforms, not have to allow them to wear civilian clothes when not actively on duty.
Yeah, because military uniforms are uncomfortable and bullshit, and she starts getting a bit too overly. She starts basically rubbing Yuriko up the wrong way, so to speak, because Yuriko's straight-laced military and Kim's showing up to duty with lipstick and earrings and all this sort of stuff, and dressed herself up a little bit, and she's walking around in casual clothes and like she's at a beach or something, just wandering around, and Yuriko thinking that she's using her looks to get ahead, and they do that whole thing where Yuriko's never done that, and she thinks that's what Kim's doing, and Kim has this whole bit where she has to prove, she proves basically that just because she's dressed nice doesn't mean she's not a soldier.
Yeah, and she also points, and she eventually says, tells Yuriko that Yuriko thinking that she's used her looks to get ahead is just profoundly insulting to her.
Yeah.
Because she's never done that. She works really hard at being really good at doing being a communications officer.
Yeah, and she proves that she is. This episode she does, make a mark knowing that she's really good at what she does. Again, it's one of those. She's on this ship. She's really good at what she does. She just doesn't gel with a strict military.
Right.
I mean, there's one bit where the the fucking Marines again, where they've picked up on the chance of a catfight. So they're listening into the bridge, listening into Kim and Yuriko arguing, and then all of a sudden you just see Kim at the door, walks in, grabs the dude's radio, smashes it. And it's like, yeah, this is how dumb you are. You're trying to spy on the communications officer.
You're bugging you're using a bug on the communications officer on the comm channels when I'm there. Are you fucking stupid? Yeah. Also, you realize that bugging the bridge is actually, a serious crime in the military, right? And the bridge is like, "Oh, yes, ma'am. Sorry, ma'am."
Yeah, she basically makes them all back down. They're like, "Oh, I'm sorry." And the helmsman, we don't really get much of him, other than he's the I would just describe it. He's the mellow child sort of thing. He's not overly hippie, but he's all about inner peace sort of thing. He always drinks his green tea.
Yeah, he's a Buddhist apparently.
He's a Buddhist, yeah. Again, similar sort of thing. He knows what he's doing. He's a really good pilot. He just doesn't really fit with the with the military mold.
There's that. He's very, very. His level of confidence in his piloting ability is.
He's Tom Paris.
Yeah, he's arrogant about how good a pilot he is, and that probably annoys people.
Yes.
To
his credit, he backs it up.
Yep.
Finally, okay. Sorry about that, guys.
Sorry.
Eric emerged. But yeah, his only real moments we get are him just reacting to what's going on around him. He doesn't really get an episode of himself, although he does get an absolutely brilliant laugh later on, which
Yeah. So we talked about the nurse for a bit, Harumi.
Okay.
Anything you want to bring up about Harumi that that stuck out to you before we and we're
what I like about Harumi is she's very much the outsider looking in, and gets totally sucked in at just like we mentioned she's an android, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
We mentioned she's an android and a Ralgon spy. We mentioned the bit where she tries to kill Tylor, and Tyler's like, "Don't do it." And then when she fails, she tries to kill herself, and Tyler's like, "No, don't do that." She's
No, don't do that. Yeah, one of the things I like I like about the way the show is structured is the whole bit where he accidentally seduces the AI is foreshadowing to what happens to Hiromi.
Yes.
Yeah, a little bit.
Because
it's just Tyler being himself and a nice guy, and Hiromi's like, holy crap, what is this? God damn it, why did they program me with emotions?
Because unshockingly, given the type of comedic show this is, all the women fall in love with Tyler to some degree or another.
Yeah, I'll be fair to them. There's one episode later on where it's all that comes to a head and it's played for comedic effect.
Yep.
Yes.
You don't get a lot of that, other than again Tyler flirts with everyone.
Right. Yeah, basically, there are exactly two characters they actually show multiple times, like dealing with like the fact that they're actually sort of that they have feelings for Tyler. And it's Harumi and Yuriko.
Yeah.
Like the Henner's the Henner twins have a massive crush on Tyler. But that doesn't, it's not like a major thing going on during the show. I mean,
no, they do actually do a decent little job with them, because this is still a military ship. He's a captain on the bridge and their roles are elsewhere, so they don't interact with him all that much.
Right.
Yeah.
So
they spend most of their time chasing around the fighter pilot, trying to get him to be nicer to them.
Because he doesn't like women.
Yeah, it's a weird thing. He's the Top Gun arrogant fighter pilot. The problem is he's the only fighter pilot on the ship.
Yes.
Yeah. They have multiple fighters, but
yeah, and he basically considers himself the best in all things. The skies are his, which you can see now why he's ended up on this ship.
Yeah.
He's the shortest man. He's the shortest man on the crew, but if you scale it by ego, he'd be probably the tallest.
Yeah.
The Marines might have him beat. Simply because, like I said, they're Gestalt.
Yeah, but the problem is he's got little man syndrome.
Yeah, that's true.
But at the same time, he's deathly terrified of women. To the point where they cannot be within 3 feet of him.
It's not something he's terrified. They irritate him.
Yeah, he just doesn't like women. He doesn't trust women.
And so
which the twins love. Just winding him up.
They love. They like to poke the thing with sharp sticks.
Yes.
But they try to get him to, and he eventually does teach them how to fly, and eventually he finds that they have way more natural talent than he suspected.
Yeah.
They have any right to, honestly.
Yeah. And so eventually they become the second and third pilot on the ship. Fighter pilots. So they actually have 3 fighters they can fly now. Woo!
Yes. Hooray!
So yeah, the only other characters we need to talk about that we really need to talk about are we need to talk about the admirals, and Aslan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we can knock the admirals out pretty quickly, I think, because there are two major admirals that we see a lot of. There's Admiral was it Mifune?
Yeah,
Mifune,
Mifune.
yeah.
Captain, I solve all my problems by hitting it with a sword.
Yeah.
And what's the other guy's name? Crap. Hang on. I gotta get the names right here. My list where I had the characters' names, I couldn't remember all of them. Unfortunately, doesn't have all the characters on it.
Mm.
God damn it.
Either way, it's the other one. It's the Joe Pesci.
Yeah.
That's what he always reminded
Yes,
me.
he's very much a Joe Pesci kind of character. There's a good analogy.
Yeah.
For a live action, he would be played by Joe Pesci. It doesn't matter if if the rest of the cast is Japanese. He's being played by Joe Pesci.
Yeah. It's basically they've got one of the the big tall war hero kind of guy who always carries a sword with him and brandishes it at regular intervals.
That's Mifune. He's got a real temper.
How someone higher up than him hasn't told him he is not allowed a fucking sword because somebody's gonna get hurt, I don't know.
Well, as far as I can tell, he's actually the highest-ranking admiral in the fleet at this point.
Yeah, I think it's shared by him and Joe Pesci.
Yeah. But yeah, it's basically as those two. They start off, to be fair to them, they start off, and I don't know why I got this analogy because I mean, obviously it's not 100% on, but they start off a little bit Statler and Waldorf.
A little bit.
They start off, they rib each other a little bit. And they're just laughing at the Soyokaze and Tylor. And it's like, oh, well, get him out of our hair sort of thing. Until he starts to become a problem. Like a severe problem. Even though they don't know how to deal with him. I said it episode 5. Promote the fucker. Give him a desk job. No problem.
Yeah, Admiral Fuji. That's the other one.
Fuji, that's him.
Yep. So yeah, Fuji...
No, his name is Joe Pesci now.
So Mifune is your traditional sort of samurai admiral, straight-laced, military decorum type, and Fuji is a much more political creature than Mifune.
Yes.
Yeah.
He's also
he probably doesn't suggest promoting him because he knows Mifune would shoot it down, probably by stabbing the paperwork.
The other thing is that Fuji is also significantly more ruthless than Mifune is.
Yes.
Yeah, which is weird considering he's not the one with the sword.
No, it makes perfect sense. He's the one that would poison your drink and feed you to hyenas. Mifune would gut you and then place your head on a pike.
Yes. And both of them loathe Tylor.
Yes.
And they spend a lot of time basically trying to, and they don't like most of the crew of the Soyokaze either because most of them are problems. So they spend a significant chunk of time basically trying to get rid of them. To just get rid of and eventually towards the end of the show, Mifune comes to sort of a grudging acceptance about Tylor.
Yes.
And it's a real spoiler to explain why he does. So I don't want to cover that.
Right.
But the last character we have to talk about, we talked a little bit about her before, but we should go in a bit more detail on Aslan because she is one of the most important characters who doesn't get nearly enough screen time.
I agree. There's that whole drought of her. I was like, she gets introduced. I'm like, I like her. I'm looking forward to seeing more of her. Where'd she go? There's 6 episodes. She doesn't show up at all.
Yeah, there's a big chunk in the middle where I don't know whether it was just a writing decision, but we all agree there's a couple of episodes in that middle chunk that A, didn't need to happen, or B, should have been something different.
Yeah, So at any rate, Aslan, as we said, she's the Empress of the Ralkan Empire. She is very, very young for the position because her father died suddenly, and she's very uncertain. She's in many ways very uncertain of how to be the Empress, basically.
Yes.
And she becomes fascinated with Tylor because of what he and the Soyokaze have been able to accomplish. over the course. So she eventually basically tells Dom, "I have to see this guy. Bring him before me."
Bring him
And
to alive and intact.
yes,
None of this head hooked up to a life support system bullshit like last time.
because the Railgun don't take prisoners as a general rule of thumb.
Mm.
And so they eventually come up with a plan to get to capture Tylor. Harumi basically introduces this. She introduces this virus, this sort of artificially created virus, into the air ducts of the ship, and gives Tylor an immunity shot to it. So the entire crew gets sick and is dying. And Dom's right hand woman, who's he's commander of a small squadron of ships. And his right hand woman she flies up and basically demands that they surrender Tylor, or else you're all gonna die. I have the antidote to the virus. And so the crew are all like, well, no, we can't do that. That's just and Tylor doesn't bat an eye, and says basically, and he agrees. He says, no, fine, I'll turn myself over to you.
I mean, clearly that's the right decision because you guys won't fuck me because I trust Hirome to keep her word, and she does. And yeah, that math just works out that way. It's one person versus the entire ship.
And
he does seem to come across with the attitude, at least the way he's talking, as if, yeah, sure, I'll come visit with you.
Yeah,
that's the way he's phrasing it. Yes. And it's not clear whether, again, it's one of those things, whether it's Tylor basically sort of, putting up a front, or if he just doesn't understand exactly how bad this is going to be for him.
Mm.
But it's very clear that...
At this point, I give him the benefit of the doubt.
I do too, actually.
At this point, he's earned it. Earlier in the series, I don't think I would have, but yeah.
It's about this point, this thing, where I start to come around, because I'll admit, for a good chunk of this, I hated his character. I was not, I'll be bluntly honest, I wasn't enjoying this show as much as I thought when he was on the screen.
Right.
Just because, like I said, for me, he was just too much bullshit. And if it wasn't intentional, like I say, going back now, if I watched it again, I could probably see things. But if it wasn't intentional from what I was seeing on the first viewing, fuck this guy. No one's that lucky. But it's at this point here where you start to see, okay, there might be a plan here. This actually might be something easy. He could very well have been planning this sort of thing the entire time. And I tried to explain myself that when we finished watching it, it's rather than him looking his way out of certain scenarios, just purely, because it starts to become more that his way of thinking and his attitude start to influence events around him.
Yep.
Mm.
So he almost starts to engineer his own luck, which that I can start to appreciate.
Yep. So at any rate, Tyler basically says, "Yep, I'll happily do it." And the Railgun, being honorable, they do deliver the cure. Harumi basically decides that she's not going to let Tylor do this because and she basically leaps in, takes the captures the prisoner because Harumi's a badass. And
well, she is an android. She has certain advantages.
Yes. And then the captain points out, look, if we don't get Tylor, we'll blow up I've got people pointing guns at the antidote. So Harumi has to let it go, and she basically, the captain basically says, yeah, we'll bring you back with us, and probably since you're clearly malfunctioning, there's something wrong with you because you're siding with Tylor. You clearly you've kind of fallen for him. Yeah.
Clearly something is wrong with your core programming. We'll bring you back, do a memory wipe, and reinitialize.
And Tylor basically says, well, look, if I'm willing to, if you're willing, I mean, I've got a request. We all like Harumi here, and if she's defective, you don't need her anymore. So could she just stay here and be part of the crew? And she's like,
But what?
Yeah, plus she's the nurse, and she's in the current situation, she's like the best person to administer it.
So yeah, she's unaffected. Like the doctor's sick, so and the captain, the captain's like, yeah, sure, you're right. We don't need her anymore. So yeah, fine, yeah, cool, whatever. And this is the bit where like going into the thing where she like the crew has now found out Harumi is a spy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But her reaction to Tyler trying to turn himself in gets her back in their good graces.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, because their initial reaction is, we're going to kill her. Oh, it's just nearly sacrificed herself to... all right, she's cool.
Yeah, and the captain's just vouched for her, so... Okay.
Back to incompetently trying to woo her in the sweetest way possible.
Yes. So Tyler is brought to the Empress. She talks to him a bit. They're going to execute him. The first bit is that he's brought aboard the ship and locked up and put into a prison cell, which Dom leaves a bit where he can escape from just to test him.
Yeah.
And he does. Gets himself some special. He finds the kitchen. He sneaks out mostly because he's hungry, honestly.
Yeah. He's like, I haven't eaten yet. Let's go eat food.
Yeah, as they're walking him through, they're like, he's like, well, this isn't a very great, do you have hot springs? But you're not a guest, and we don't normally keep prisoners. You're lucky you're alive. So no hot springs.
But do you have hot springs?
Yeah. It's like, okay. Well, I mean, this isn't exactly a great, cabin. It's not a cabin. It's a cupboard. It's the closest we've got to a cell. Oh. This isn't a very good way to treat a guest. You're not a guest. and he actually gets face to face with Wang, and it's like, wait, no, I'll rephrase that.
With the Prime Minister.
With the Prime Minister, yeah, and it's like, and he's looking at him and he's like, you don't, and he actually comes out and says something along the lines of, if you're the best that the Space Force have got, then this is going to be an easy victory. And Tyler actually comes out with the line, or maybe I'm just playing dumb and I'm a lot smarter than you think I am.
Yes.
and Wang looks at him, he's like, well, I guess I'll have to keep my guard up around you, won't we? And just cuts back and just smiles. Tyler's just got this goofy ass grin on his face, just staring at me as he walks away. And that's the point where I'm thinking, okay, you sly bastard. You're fucking trolling me now, aren't you?
So anyways, he sneaks out the kitchen and basically, gets some railgun clothes and sitting there in the kitchen eating. Aslan sneaks out to get herself a midnight snack. She walks in the kitchen, he's like...
Because it's not proper for an empress to sneak out and eat, except at mealtime. But she's hungry, and... Yeah. She's stressed out and hungry, and she's not willing to put up with this bullshit, so she's going to sneak out.
Before we go further, Duwani in chat brings up that he asks if Tyler's Carrot from Discworld. Kind of. Now that you mention it, there are some similarities between Tyler and Carrot, in that they're both much smarter than they let on.
Yeah.
And they're both genuinely nice people who want to get to know people.
I think
the
difference is Tyler's a lot more devious, even if it's unintentional, than Carrot is. While Carrot's all about like straight up forthrightness. Like he bludgeons you with forthright niceness. Until you are also nice and forthright.
The difference between the two of them is Carrot is simple. He's not stupid, but he's simple. Tyler isn't simple. He's lazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway,
So Tyler and the Empress meet, not knowing who each other are. And
right.
They spend some time
Tyler's wearing a stupid hat because he found a stupid hat in the kitchen. So of course he's going to put it on.
Right.
I mean, that's what I do.
So basically, the only way that you can tell the difference between a Ralgon and a human is their ears.
Right.
From general looking. So yeah, Tyler's got a silly hat on and it happens to cover his ears.
Right. So, she assumes he's a cook, and Tyler apparently can cook, so...
Right.
So they spend some time eating together. They go hang out in the truly astounding holodeck equivalent.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we get to see see where Ashlyn grew up and stuff, and eventually Dom finds her and takes her back, and that's when Tyler realizes that she's the Empress. And then he's brought before her to be introduced. That's when she realizes that this guy she spent some time this cook she was hanging out with is actually Tyler. She's like
the prisoner.
Oh, right. She's like
she's like, wait, what? And he's like, hi.
It's glorious. So that at which point the prime minister is planning on having him executed, and she's like, no, I don't want you to kill him. I like him. No, he's going to be my pet. Yes, that's it.
Yes, clearly that's how.
Yeah, the prime minister tries his best to say, if you don't have him executed, you're weak. We don't keep prisoners, and you can't let him go because then you'll be weak. So it's like, okay, I'll keep him as a pet.
And the prime minister's like, I think. Fine.
Yeah.
So he takes Tyler off and brainwashes him to be loyal to Aslan, basically. And we have this wonderful scene where Wang comes in tried to do his manipulation thing to Aslan, and Tyler plays
Tyler
as sort of playing sort of the buffoon fool, just cuts through all of Wang's shit.
Yes.
And it's glorious.
Yes.
It really is, because the brainwashing to make him loyal to Aslan means he's not gonna he's not gonna sit there and let Wang do his thing. He's gonna cut him right to ribbons right in front. But he's just the pet. He's the court jester. Who cares what he says?
Right. But the best part is the other really part is watching Dom's face during this.
Yes.
Because Dom's like, I thought I was the only person who saw through this. Holy shit.
Yeah. Tyler's
Dom sort of oscillates between being shocked at the impropriety and finding it hilarious and relieved, and it sort of all of that sort of oscillates for 3 seconds.
Yeah, it's great. And the other thing about it is Aslan basically like, okay, yeah, she sort of gets clued into some of this stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, she doesn't actually act on it, but yeah. So Tyler's had 3 conversations with Wang at this point, and already the first time that Wang is given any sort of political pokings towards Ashlyn, Tyler's just there wow, this would be a really good sort of situation for somebody who wanted to poke an inexperienced empress into doing what he wants, so he's basically ruling the throne. Just as blunt as that. And actually just 1
+ 1 does equal 2.
It's literally
keep an eye out for this bullshit.
Look, without even trying, is Wang's worst nightmare.
Yes.
It's wonderful. So the Soyokaze crew, meanwhile, has been put into quarantine because Mifune and Fuji basically, we can lock these idiots away. We don't have to deal with Tyler anymore. It's brilliant. The crew has decided
keep them quarantined indefinitely because unknown virus. We have no idea when it might resurface.
So of course the crew decides, well, we got to get Tyler back. So we're busting out.
Yeah, the crew have become passionately loyal over Tyler now after that whole he gave himself up to save them sort of thing. Because if there's one thing, they are still a military ship, and although he's a fucking pain in the ass half the time, and even caused them. I mean, we skipped straight over it, but it even caused them to basically get demoted out of fucking service for a good chunk.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's a fucking fate worse than death for a military man.
Right.
They basically don't matter anymore. But at this point, they got the whole thing was he was willing to sacrifice himself to save them.
Right.
Even the fucking spy who caused this all, he's managed to put on our side, and he's still sacrificed himself for her. They're all like, "Fuck this noise! Break out!"
So they break out, steal the ship, go off and confront the Ralgon fleet, one on many, and the Ralgon flagship, bust their way onto the ship to rescue Tyler.
The flagship itself is a beast.
Yeah,
but they pull off. This is the bit where they show just how good this crew is.
Yep,
they're all misfits, but they are fucking good because they drop
they're terrifyingly competent.
They drop in like right underneath the Ralgon flagship. They immediately start scrambling their sensors and all kinds of electronic chaff and all this sort of stuff. They make it look like a Space Force fleet has basically warped in next to them.
Yeah, with all sorts of like sensor shadows, and
the Ralgon don't have a clue what's going on, just long enough for the Marines to fly their dropship straight up the guts of the Ralgon flagship and get inside with their power armor to look for Tylor.
Right. Meanwhile, Tylor and Aslan basically have been shuffled off to Aslan's safe room, where Wang has a bomb set up.
Yeah, of course he does.
Wang's like, this is perfect. The Space Force is attacking us. I can blow Aslan up, and it'll be blamed on them. It's perfect. Of course, when this happens, Tylor saves her life.
Yes.
Right.
Taking most of the blow of the explosion for her. So the Marines look down. They see,
Right, because the safe house happens to be right underneath the deck where the power armor fight is happening.
Right. And so Dom's actually there with his Marines. And fighting the Soyakaze's Marines, and they all look down. And they see Aslan down there, grief-stricken over Tylor, basically nearly dead. And Cryburn basically goes, "Fuck!" He goes right down, gets the captain, and Dom is like, Dom realizes, "Oh my God, Tylor just saved the Empress's life."
Right. The Empress immediately goes, "Okay, we need to save him. We might look the same, but we do have entirely different anatomy on the inside. I don't know how. Well, these humans know how to save him, so he's going back over there, and I'm going with them. Direct order from the Empress. Fuck you. I'm going."
Yeah.
Okay.
They did this whole thing where Tylor gets a bit of a stomachache because he's not used to eating Ralgon food.
Right.
And they basically that's the whole setup they do, that human physiology and Ralgon physiology are just different enough.
They're enough different that they're not sure that they can't treat him well. They can't treat him medically that well. And so this sort of thing, they're like, we don't have the right medicines. It's not so much they don't have the knowledge. They just we don't know, we don't our antibiotics might kill him. Our anesthetics might kill him.
Yeah. And you've got this point where both sides refuse to fire or attack because their leaders, the Empress and Tylor, are right in the middle.
Right.
Right.
And the Empress just says, "Okay, you're humans, right? You can heal him, right? I'm coming with you, and he's coming too." And the Ralgon's just like,
Well, the Empress
Fuck you, direct order from the Empress.
Yeah. But to be fair to him, Dom realizes what's going on. He realizes exactly what probably happened because, he's a military man. The Marines didn't get anywhere near that room before it went boom.
Right.
He figures it all out and he's like, okay, you know what? Probably the safest place for her right now is with Tylor.
Yep.
Yeah.
And he stands down and lets them go.
Yep. So they go back. The doctor manages to save Tylor's life. Discovers the implant that's brainwashing him, uses sort of a brain sync thing to try to get and to have Yuriko basically sync with Tylor's brain to try to basically go into his mind and sort of undo the brainwashing. Aslan leaps into the brain sync chair with her because of course she does.
She's totally.
She's got a little bit of the child Empress. I'll do what I like because.
It's not even that. It's that she's so ridiculously infatuated and protective of Tylor.
Yep.
Yeah.
She has to be there anytime something happens with Tylor.
Yeah, we've just got to be fair, we've just skipped over it again. We've just past the point where she was more or less confessing that she's fallen for him as well.
Yeah.
In a friend of a friend thinks this of somebody, but they can't be together because of arguments. And they're from different places, and
their families are fighting,
and the guy's older than my friend.
Yeah, and then Tyler's like, "Oh well, maybe," and he goes, "Also, my friend, the guy that my friend likes is a fucking idiot. He doesn't pick up on hints."
I was like, "Must be rough looking at a guy like that."
So she's still keeping up the pretense that it's a pet, they own a pet relationship, but she's more or less fallen for him at this point.
Yeah.
The other part of this as well, that everyone's concerned about Tyler, so everyone's going about the business doing this, that, and other. The Empress is just basically sat out in a hallway in an enemy ship.
Yep.
Yeah.
The commander of the Ralgon fleet, they're just like, she'll be fine.
And at some point someone asked, shouldn't we be watching her? I was like, she's not doing anything. She's like the rest of us. She's totally hooked on Tyler. She'll be fine.
Yeah. So yeah, they, Aslan basically, they sort of, they run into Tyler's sort of subconscious, and Aslan basically decides, fuck it, I'm happy here. So she basically sort of, just decides she's just gonna be permanently psychically linked with Tyler, in this chair thing forever, and not have to worry about anything anymore. And Yuriko basically just busts through all of that, and basically is what drags Tyler back out of it. She's the one who saves Tyler.
Yes.
And we get to see all this sort of the really interesting sort of conflicting sort of aspects of Tyler's personality that aren't quite as obvious when he's like his psyche's talking to them. He's got, the constant flirting bits, parts, the bits with there are bits of him that are like where his like complete has like no self-confidence in parts of it. Like there's a lot of it where he's it's really interesting. You find out a lot more about Tyler during that too.
Yeah, well they do it with various bits of his face. Basically, his mouth is constantly it's like a disembodied mouth that's just running, all constant appeasing people and paying compliments and essentially what you think if you're that unconfident kind of person, it's that sort of stuff you think people want to hear. They want an ass kisser, a mouthpiece basically that will just appease them and make you like, doing that will make them like you and all this sort of stuff. Then you've got his ears that's basically listening to everything that everyone's saying and taking it all the wrong way and taking it as negatives and whether people are talking behind your back and all this sort of stuff. And there's another bit that's basically his flirty side that goes far too far, and it's just about women. It gets a bit. It's almost the off-putting side of it, where it's all about it's his dirty side basically,
right?
And it's quite vulgar. And then you've got other parts, and it's just going on and on all around him, and it's really cool to see all this dismantled personality.
Yep. And so Yuriko saves him at that point, and we start moving towards sort of the end, sort of the building towards the end of the series. Eventually, there's the episode where all the girls start confessing to Tyler while he's desperately trying to stop his VCR from recording over a porn tape the Marines lent him.
The Marines will kill him if he destroys the tape.
It's a bit of a blow-off episode, but also managed to progress the story a little bit as well, which is actually a really good one. It's not a blow-off for the sake of it, and you don't need to watch it for the sake of the story. There's actually things happening there. Yep. But yeah, it's the whole thing where everyone's happy to have him back. They throw him a party, and as a special present, the Marines let him borrow the tape.
Yep.
They all have. They all, the singular tape that the Marines have.
Right.
And the usual thing, they give him the death threats. It's like, don't tape over it, don't delete it, don't let anyone confiscate it, or we will pretty much just kill you.
Right. So,
and of course, yeah.
Yeah. So it accidentally starts recording. He basically slips and bonks the record button and can't get to stop recording. At which point, the Hanner twins show up and basically confess that they really like him and they want to be his lover.
15 minutes going back and forth. You tell him. No, you tell him. No, you tell him.
Yeah. And basically say, yeah.
We know it's 15 minutes because we glance over at the VCR clock.
Right.
It's 30 seconds. They come back to them going back and forth. 15 minutes have gone by.
It does go to this is the thing, it's being played for laughs though, because they go completely over the top. Because fair enough, he sacrificed himself for the crew and they've got him back. But yeah, you've got the young girls, the twins, like 18-year-old girls or whatever they are, who have basically just said, between us, yeah, we're twins, but we both want to be your lovers.
Yep.
You've got twins. And he's like, stop. Play, stop. What? You saying something?
He doesn't really notice what they're saying. Says something basically.
Yeah.
He makes them think basically. Said, yeah, thanks, but no thanks. And they're like, oh, okay, we won't bother you again about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, and again, they've had a crush on him the whole show, so totally
Yeah.
believable.
But the problem is that along this whole thing as well. This is the point where they finally decided to lock up Aslin.
Yeah, they basically say, okay, Aslan's got to be. We got to lock your door at night just for your safety and everything. Of course, Aslan snuck out of her room already.
Yes.
Yeah.
And Yamamoto basically comes as like, hey, I'm really sorry about this, but just for your safety, we're going to lock the door. You know how guys get sometimes, and everyone's been drinking. So
Right. So
if you need something, just let us know and we'll have someone sober escort you.
Right. So
the whole time she's basically been hiding in Tyler's room waiting for him to come back.
Yes.
And she's looking to make her move, but then he's put this tape on, and obviously nothing's actually come on screen yet. And then the twins are interrupted, so they do all that and then run away crying, and she's like, so he's not interested in younger girls. I need to act more mature.
And then Lieutenant Kim shows up.
But she's obviously the grown woman. She's very forward. She's basically just saying, I wasn't interested in you before, but I've seen the sort of man you've developed into, and yeah, if you want me, you've got me. And he's like, I'm sorry.
Sorry, what'd you say? I'm trying to work this thing over here, and
yeah, straight up ignoring her. So she gets mad and stomps off, and he goes, and Aislin's like, so he doesn't like forward women either. I'm learning so much. And then I think is it Harumi?
Harumi shows up next.
Harumi.
And she's all like, I'm so confused by all of what's going on in my head right now.
And she's stupendously aggressive.
Yes.
Yeah, overly. But then he says something which she construes as to mean that, he says something like, I don't have time for this right now. He's not talking to her. He's talking about the video.
Right.
But she says, no, you're right. We don't have time for this. We're fighting a war. We should put this aside. We should be professional. That's correct. You're right, Captain. That's fine. And she leaves.
Yep.
And she's like, what's going on? And then another knock at the door, and it's Yuriko, and Ashley, God bless her, she's like, oh God, not her too.
And no, Yuriko does not hit on Tyler. She's the one of the women who does it during this bit.
Yes, because her whole point is basically her and Yamamoto have been talking because they're the straight-laced guys. It's like, well, we do have like the enemy commander on our ship as a prisoner. What should we do with her?
And Tyler's like, I don't know. But I don't think we should turn her over to the fleet. She's just a kid.
Yeah.
They'll execute her.
It's clear and obvious what will happen if we turn her over to the fleet, and yeah, she's like 16.
and the best part about it is like, Yuriko's like, yeah, I really should have seen that coming, and I actually agree with you. Yamamoto's instinct is must turn over to the fleet, must turn over to the superiors, obvious thing. But he's conflicted also because he's been hanging out with Tyler for a long time, and Tyler's begun to rub off on him.
And he's seen just how the fleet's not as wise as he thought it was.
Right.
Well, that's the thing. Yuriko asked him that question specifically, and he says, well, we should hand her over. That's what the fleet should do. And he's like, that's the answer. That's obviously, she's asking just for reassurance. That's fine. And then she gives him this alternate point of view. It's like, well, she's just a kid. You've seen her. She's just concerned about the captain. She's not really a threat. I mean, she's in command of a threat, sure, but she's still just a little girl. I mean, we could you could be friends if nothing else. And all of a sudden, he's then considering this completely alien point of view to him.
Yep.
And he's having a mental breakdown because of it.
Yep.
Because he can see that she's right. But his heart says yes, and his brain says, "What? No, this isn't what I've been trained to do. I don't like this."
But so she walks off feeling relieved that Tyler basically has the exact same point of view on this that she does. Because it's like, yeah, right, of course the captain's going to say that. Tyler's basically the nicest guy I've ever met. The fuck. And so it ends with Tylor basically, Aslan revealing herself to Tylor, and they have a little chat, and Tylor eventually crashes and goes to bed on the floor, and it's this adorable thing where she's just basically, she sleeps next to him. It's really just very cute and sweet.
Yeah.
Well, it's not that he crashes; it's that he blows up the VCR.
Right, that's it, and he's knocked unconscious. That's what it is.
He gets to his last point of last nerve, the last thing he can think of, and hits the VCR with a bat.
Right.
And it goes boom, lays him out on the floor.
Smoking, and he's like, "Ah, finally, it's done." She's like, it's on fire."
he gets knocked out, laid out on the floor. And God bless her. She just looks at him. She's like, "Oh, that's cute." Lays down next to him, pulls a blanket over, and goes to sleep.
Yep. It's really sweet.
It is, but he's probably got a concussion.
The next episode, basically, they are debating what to do about whether to turn her over. She basically decides, well, I don't want to be drunk away from Tylor, so I'm going to pretend that I'm carrying his child.
Yeah.
The impulsive 16-year-old Empress, fine. And everyone on the shit crew is just like, wait, what the fuck? What? This is only one night! And some people actually point out, well, technically speaking, he was their prisoner for a while, and she was sort of keeping him as a pet, so...
Yeah. Maybe. Also, you don't know her biology. Maybe it does just take one night. And this is the bit that, like I said earlier, it leads to the Marines doing the whole dartboard thing, whether it's a boy or a girl. They've instantly gone to that. They've instantly gone to that mode.
Right. The Marines are all like,
"Oh, really? All right." And no one would confess to being pregnant with Tyler's kid unless they actually were.
Well, it's also the fact that they like Tylor despite all of his bizarreness, and they've come to like the Empress.
But the whole point of the episode is basically, and it's a really good one. It's basically teaching her the value of her words.
Right.
Because she's always protected herself with that lie, basically, that she was carrying his kid. It's kind of that's her being political and being clever, and then she realizes, she gets told basically to her face, the value of what she says as a military leader. You're sending people. Right. Your one-off words.
Who does it because she's the mom of the ship.
Yeah, she's like your one-off words and your little impulsive reactions are sending people to their deaths. And she has this little moment that I love where she's walking around the ship, and she's seeing all the other people, because this is the thing. She's the Empress. No one treats her like a real person, and all of a sudden, this entire ship of people are treating her like a real person.
Yep.
Right. So she doesn't want to leave.
Yeah, and she's walking around, and she walks this great scene. It's like she's fighting. She sees the Marines and the flight crews fighting again. They're all just kicking hell out of each other. She just walks in the door, says, "Don't fight each other. That's my command," and walks away. And they all look at her like,
"You can't tell it. Maybe she can.
Can she?
How does this work?"
The princess, the Empress has spoken, and she leaves. And it's like, okay, did she just drop a mic or what?
But at any rate, Dom comes to take her back. He's got his huge fleet there, and eventually she walks onto the bridge, and basically says, "Yeah, I'm going back. I have to. I don't want to, but I have to." And basically she starts to give orders to the crew and says, "No, as your friend, I'm asking you people to just let me go back."
Yeah, she comes clean. She says she's not actually pregnant.
Yep.
I'm sorry for that. I didn't know what my words would do. So as your friend, I want to go do what I can. She grows up a lot in that one day.
Yep.
Yeah.
And she goes back, and so Tylor, they go back to the fleet, and the fleet, the admirals are all ecstatic. We've got the Empress prisoner. We can't possibly lose the war. Tylor, you're a hero. And so where's the Empress? Oh, we sent her back.
Do you mean she escaped? No, we sent her back. She wanted to go back, so we sent her back.
You're like, oh.
You realize wow, well, okay, well, for doing that and for ruining these plans that we come up with when we heard you captured her, it's treason. We're going to have you executed.
Yeah, they straight up black bag him. Straight coat, bag over the head. they having none of it with him. He's done.
And so the crew are all like, okay, yeah, technically speaking, they probably could court-martial him, but firing squad, really?
Yeah.
And so quick? No. This is clearly bullshit. We will now rescue the captain because that's what we do.
Well, we've already broken.
The best part is they're also debating what to do. During all this, Harumi has already started planning her rescue.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so she starts walking towards the dropship to fly off, and then Yuriko walks in, and everybody starts walking in, and like. So, no,
the Marines come in at the power arm. Anderson's like, the cockpit's mine, right?
No, the best part is they start going up the ramp up to the dropship, and that's where Anderson walks out and says, "You do realize the cockpit this is mine to fly." You see the Marines behind him.
Yes,
because they are already on the dropship, ready to go storm the base to rescue Tylor.
This is the thing though. This is the great bit because it shows you Harumi in the background, doing her spy bit, trying to locate which prison he's in, which cell he's in, where he is, what they're doing with him, the timescale, and basically it takes them. By the time she's worked out her plan and worked out what she's doing, it's just long enough for them to all have their little crisis of conscience and show up there just in time for her to finish her prep work and get ready to go.
Except for the Marines, who I'm pretty sure just spent the time arguing over who got to pilot what suit of power and armor.
I part of me wants to think the Marines were waiting on the dropship for Harumi to get there because they knew she was probably planning something.
Yeah.
I bet Anderson was thinking that at least, and probably Cryburn.
Yeah. Those two problems. Okay, all right, guys, get in the suits. We're just gonna lurk here, and we'll make our dramatic entrance. It'll be awesome. Be on the cover of the anime.
So they go off. Yamamoto stays behind.
Yeah, Yamamoto, man, he has this little moment where he's just saying, "I believe in the orders of the hierarchy. I believe in the orders of the hierarchy," or something along those lines.
Yeah.
And I believe in the command structure. I believe in the command structure. I believe in the command structure. And he's sat on the bridge and he's just like, "Oh God, dude, fucking wake up."
Yeah.
But he has that moment where he basically he has this look on his face. He's sitting in the captain's chair. It just has this look on his face of, this is wrong.
Yeah.
This is just wrong. So they get to Tylor's cell. So they start going down there, and they're going down towards Tylor's cell. The admiral's finally like, "Oh, the Soyokaze's crew is here to bust Tylor out. Fuck it, execute him now."
Yeah. Accelerate the plan. They
get to cell. He's gone. Yamamoto shows up to tell them where he remembers where the firing squad thing is, because he told about it at some point. So he's come out to help. I have no idea how he got there, but whatever.
Yeah.
They come rushing into the thing. They get there just as they're about to shoot him. When the Ralgon fleet comes to attack, because Wang has basically put the Empress in a position where he basically demands that she attack.
Yeah.
And she basically says, "Fine, I'll do it." And so they start crashing their way through the outer defenses of the fleet. And so the admirals are saying, "What the hell do we do? We're not ready for this right now." And Tylor's sitting there, in his straitjacket, the hood over his head, says, "Okay, guys, I've got a plan. Put me in charge of the entire fleet, and I guarantee we will not lose." And the admiral's like, "Are you daft?" And they're like, "Well, wait a minute. If he fails, he's dead. And do we have a better idea?" Like, Mifune's like totally gets it. And Fuji's like, "Do you have a plan?" He says he has one. He keeps winning, even if it's goddamn luck.
Yeah, he's the most successful against the Ralgon the entire Space Force has.
Do we have a better option?
And that's the thing, they're arguing between each other, saying, "Okay, are we going with your plan, so you'll take the fall, or my plan, so I'll take the fall?" And he's like, "I've got a plan."
It's like, oh well, shit.
So, and so they put him up. They put him in charge. They make a big announcement that he's taking over. Yeah, yes, this is unprecedented, but.
Well, that's what they say. They say, he's the most successful fleet, ship captain in military action against the Ralgon, and they say, well, yeah, he is. He's destroyed an entire fucking fleet with one ship.
Right. So they make this big announcement, and so Aslan is like Tyler's coming out. Tyler's leading the fleet against us. What?
Yeah.
And Dom basically...
To be fair, it's a good job. Like I think Eric said it, it's a good job the Ralgon didn't find out they were going to kill Tyler, because they would have attacked much sooner.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah. Oh, I think I brought that up when we were watching.
Yeah. Oh, was it you? Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. No. If because they would have been like, they're killing Tyler. Level everything, no stone atop another. I want their skins laid out as a carpet for my throne room.
We're gonna go in there. We're taking Tyler and blowing everything else up. I guess we'll let the Soyokaze come and join us.
Yeah.
They seemed all right. But no, that's not what happened. So she's like sort of bordering on heartbroken that Tyler's leading the fleet against her. And Dom walks in and says, "Princess, I beg you, let me lead the fleet. Let me lead our fleet against Tyler." And she's Empress, and she's like, "But you want to kill Tyler?" And before he can give her the full answer, we cut away. And so, we find out that she's given the fleet to Dom.
Yeah.
Because she's like, Dom's in charge, and Wang's like, but no, Dom's in charge.
Yeah, but then Wang's at the same time is like, well, okay, hang on. If this works, we lose. If we win, then what is it now? If we lose the fight, she looks incompetent and I win. If we win the fight, then it was my idea in the first place, so I win.
Yeah,
I can't possibly lose.
I can't possibly lose.
I've totally Palpatined this. I'm good.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so the two fleets start closing.
Or Xanatosis, rather.
Yeah. So they, Palpatine's playing both ends against the middle.
Yeah.
So it's a total Xanatos moment for him. At least that's what he thinks.
Yes.
So
the problem is the middle fight's back.
So the two fleets start closing in each other with just fantastic classical score going through all of this.
Yes.
And so Tyler basically said, advance, and Dom advances also, and Mifune and Fuji are trying. What are you doing? Why aren't you shooting yet? You must give an order to do something. Advance faster. What? And the Railgun
advancing.
The Railgun commanders are looking at Dom like, when do we start shooting? Not yet. Wait for it. Just wait for it.
Hold fire.
And so the fleets start closing in each other, and all of a sudden, their warp fields start interacting, so you get these arcs of electricity arcing everywhere, all over the place.
There's a great scene as well where we start to see that Dom, God knows how that guy's mind works, but he started to figure out Tyler.
Yeah.
So he's basically sat there on the bridge saying, "Don't worry, I know what I'm doing. I know what he's doing."
Yep. Yes.
It's like okay, I have to trust Tyler. I know what.
Well, that's it. That's the explanation he gives to the Empress. It's like, I trust him as a man and a warrior.
Yeah. Put me in charge because I can kill him if I need to, but I don't want to.
Yeah, I'm not the one that's stupid enough to fire first.
Right.
Like every other general you've got.
Because Tyler's plan and Dom's plan, it turns out the two fleets pass each other without firing a single shot.
The thing is, the entire scene, which is like it's almost half the episode, is like swelling orchestral music, and there's masterful building of suspense. The very void itself crackles with energy, with lightning bolts shooting between ships.
Yeah.
And
then you got this bit where Tyler and Dom are looking out the window at each other, and they're looking at each other, and Tyler basically gestures off to his right, and it was basically in that sort of position of like, I'm about to give the order to fire, and Dom does the same thing, and Dom has this look on his face of,
what is he doing?
What is he doing?
He's like, oh my god, I don't know him. I don't know what he's doing. I don't understand this. What is he doing?
There's a moment where Dom is even before that, where Dom's beginning to have a crisis. Like, I'm not positive what's going on here. I trust Tyler, but I don't know actually what he's thinking.
Yeah.
And then as they get closer, and it's like Dom, you can see Dom's arms start to twitch, like he's about to give the order, and then Tyler's hand snaps up to his forehead in a salute.
Yeah. Because, and it is that bit again where, I think even this is the bit that just annoys me about how, like you say, how dumb Tyler plays it, because you then get the impression that he knows Dom was starting to read him.
Yep.
But
but he did this just to fuck with him to make sure that he knew he didn't have all the answers.
Yes.
Because this is the one and only time we've ever seen. Well, okay, there was one earlier on, but more or less and again it was in an encounter with Tyler. It's the only time we've ever seen Dom shake.
Yes.
Shaken or unconfident.
The only time we've seen him anything less than perfectly confident in what's going to happen.
Yes. And even though he thinks he knows, he thinks he's got Tyler pegged, he starts to sweat. He starts to panic. And then you just get the impression where Tyler's like, yep, I'm just fucking with you.
The best part about the last part of this thing, where the fleets are really closing and the salute happens, this is what's playing right during then is the William Tell overture.
Yes. Fucking hi-ho silver away.
Fucking glorious. And the two fleets pass without a shot.
Yep.
And I know it was chosen for two reasons. One, it's a grand swelling orchestra. Two, it's fucking Chuck Jones' favorite piece of music.
Yes.
Which means you're going to associate it with Looney Tunes.
Oh my god, it's glorious. And after this, the best part is at the end of that, after the fleets have passed and nothing's happened. The best part is, one of my favorite parts about that also is, while this is happening, they're about to pass by each other. You see Yamamoto going, I got it. I see he sees what Tyler's doing.
Yes.
And when they cross, the first person to leap at him and congratulate him is Yamamoto.
Yes.
Because he got it. He figured out what Tyler was doing. And I loved that. And then both fleets are sent a congratulations on your victory message that both fleets won from Admiral Hanner.
Yes. The one person both fleets respect with the utmost authority. It's like, all right, if Hanner says we won, then we won.
And yeah, he sends it directly to the Ralgon command.
Right.
Yes.
Even this is the thing though. Even Tyler at that point, once it's all done and even he's like, he almost collapses. His legs almost give out, and he's like, "God, I need a drink."
Yes.
But yeah, I mean, Peter, you summed it up with the best term for it. It was like the tensest nothing that ever happened.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's. Yeah, like the soldiers on both sides are just abjectly terrified because they're like, we can't shoot.
And it comes across really well. It is.
Yeah.
To watch that scene, it is so tense, and it literally leads to nothing and everything at the same time.
It's brilliant. It's one of my favorite moments in all of anime, honestly.
It's downright Hitchcockian.
Yeah. It is brilliant scene. It is. I love that episode to death.
And the best part about it is that it's entirely earned by all the chicanery and bullshit that comes before it. And hilarious weirdness, and that moment wouldn't have worked without getting to know Tyler and Dom and the crew
And the
as
admirals.
Well.
Yeah. Like it that could only have happened at that point of the show.
Yes.
Yeah.
And there were.
Oh yeah, if you pulled something like that earlier, I'd have called bullshit straight out. Yeah.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. And you would have been right, completely right. But by that point in the show, it's earned.
At that point in the show, it's totally earned.
Yeah.
So, at this point, the Admiralty basically has no choice but to promote Tyler.
And to give him a proper warship instead of the limping hulk that is the Soyokaze.
Right, so, and they basically, we're going to decommission the Soyokaze, and we're giving you our brand new cruiser.
The Asso, is it?
Yeah, the Asso.
Yeah, with the angry mouth.
The constantly screaming dildo.
So, yeah, they, and it leads to a bunch of stuff. So, but as they're deciding this, the news comes down that Admiral Hanner has passed away. And the scene where Tyler and the crew and the twins
in particular,
they find out about this. It is so perfectly done.
Yeah.
Like, the heartbreak on the twins' faces is just, it's heart-wrenching.
Yeah.
It is so believable that these are two 16-year-old girls who've been raised by their grandfather, and he's just 17-year-old girls actually, and the grandfather who raised them has passed away, and they're just devastated, and Tyler is broken.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tyler's very hair slumps.
Yeah. And so we have their funeral, the funeral for him, and
where Dom and Aslan sneak on.
Yeah, because
they actually sneak onto Earth. Yeah.
As they find out about Admiral Hannah passing, and Aslan's like, we really should pay him respects. And Dom's like, well, I would love to go see him, but I think you can tell he's thinking, yeah, she totally wants us to go see Tyler again, doesn't she? And that's I think it's sort of both for her. I mean, she does want to pay respect to somebody that Dom clearly idolizes.
Yeah, well, yeah. It's the society. This is one of the only members of the enemy that they respect. That means a fucking huge amount.
Yep. So they go and pay their respects, and Tyler's been nowhere to be seen for a while.
Yeah. We've kind of skipped over it, but it does make a few times where you realize that Tyler has all the time in the world for Admiral Hannah.
Yeah.
For whatever reason, I don't know why they're bonded so well.
But they have.
But yeah, any time he's back on the planet, he will quite happily spend the entire day with Admiral Hannah.
Yep.
Even though more important things are happening that require his attention.
Right. But
yeah.
Anyways, so Tyler eventually comes walking out because he's with this gigantic thing of flowers to place on the altar. Very traditional Japanese funeral.
Yeah.
And he's singing this.
So just before that point, he's basically had a breakdown.
Oh yeah, he definitely has.
They hold a essentially a party for celebrating defeat, their victory, and the admirals are trying to introduce him and give him all this send off and this huge praise and all the rest of it. And he just wanders off to the buffet table, sticks his hand in the like plates of meat, and just starts eating by hand.
Yeah,
and it was like,
during the introduction, he's standing there drinking like copiously.
Yeah, drinking copiously. He starts just like, he realizes when people say, "What are you doing? Why are you eating in your hands?" Looks at his hands, he goes, "Oh," and wipes them off on his whites.
Yep.
Yeah, because he's wearing his dress uniform.
Yep.
Yeah, just wanders off outside, and people find him climbing a lamppost or a flagpole.
Yep.
And just for the sake of it, and he's having a complete and utter breakdown. And he basically gives the entire crew just it's not quite the exact line, but essentially it's the wake up before you miss life kind of speech.
Yeah.
Because the admiral's passing.
You guys should go do whatever the fuck you guys want because we're only here for so long.
Right.
And then he just walks away.
He walks away. And, he goes up. At the funeral, he shows up with singing this sort of very melancholy song. Drops this huge thing of flowers. Thanks the Admiral for being there for him and helping him with a smile on his face. And Dom's sitting there watching. He's like, I don't know what it is, but there's something about that smile that makes me worried.
Yeah.
And at this point, we get to the next episode. They're giving Tyler the new ship, but they're not planning on sending his crew with him because they don't really trust that combo for some reason. But Tyler basically, he and Yuriko meet up, and he tells her something, which we don't hear immediately, but it's pretty clear what it is. Everyone else is partying. They have no idea where the captain is. She goes off to look for him, finds him. He tells her the thing. And she gets reassigned to intelligence on planet, basically run the intelligence division, basically. Because Admiral Buffoni's like, look, you're way too good to just be running intelligence on a ship.
Yeah, you're too good at this to be on a junker like the Soyokaze and running around with these assholes. You should be running our intelligence division.
And she goes down and she meets her new people, and the people that are working under her, and she talks to them. She says, hi. She's very nice to them, and she asked the guys working, the lieutenant is working under, would you mind doing this for me, etc. And he seems very confused by it. And eventually, he sort of tells her, he says, it's really weird. You're like the first commander who has ever basically, said, could you please do this and thanked me for this. And she's like,
you're asking things instead of just telling me.
She's like, well, isn't that perfectly normal? He's like, yeah, but not really in the military. And she's like, my God, that's it. That's what's so different about Tylor. He just acts like a normal, nice person. Always. That's why everybody's responding to him. Holy fuck.
He's not being military.
Right.
Yeah. He's not demanding, making demands and insisting upon unearned respect and all this other shit.
He asks his crew. He finds out their names. He talks to them by name. Please and thank you. Apologizes quite profusely when he's fucked up.
Yep.
He'll admit fault. He's a normal person. He's not a military man.
Right. And there's this wonderful scene where Mifune and Fuji are walking along the beach, and Mifune basically says, there's this thing about Tylor is he reminds me of this story about monkey tribes. You have your traditional monkey tribes with very hierarchical structure, and every now and then this renegade monkey will show up, and they kick him out, and he'll go off and to go find another tribe to join, and they'll beat him down to try to dissuade him. But the thing is, these renegade monkeys are crucial for the survival of the species because it brings new DNA into it forces these tribes to take in new DNA and not stagnate and not inbreed. And Fuji looks at him like, so are you saying that Tylor is the renegade monkey? And Mifune is like, we'll see. I don't know yet, but he might be. He might be what we actually need. Which is a brilliant scene. It's that the moment of Mifune basically going, I know what Tylor is now.
And here's the thing. These last 2 episodes, you'd expect all the money to go to the fleet battles or some of the action scenes involving the Marines. And the show is overall incredibly well animated for its time. These last 2 episodes are just movie quality gorgeousness.
Yeah.
Seriously, the things are ridiculously smooth. Lots of things that don't need to be animated, like wrinkles in clothing or little eye twitches or stuff, are in fact animated, and they drive forth the emotion of the scene that much more, and it's glorious.
That scene you mentioned there about the one bit I noticed about the admirals, they did a lot of work on their hair.
Yes.
Because the admirals are exactly, they're straight-laced, military suits, no movement at all. They're rigid. Their hair isn't.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of animation, a lot of work in the hair. And as I spotted a few times, this isn't saying that they've skimped on the animation throughout the series for the sake of the last few episodes, because the animation is...
No, not at all. The animation's great throughout the series. It's
fine throughout the series. It's anime quality, but like Eric says, the last few episodes are movie quality. You can see the odd cheat. There's a whole lot of reused animation in this. Reuse clips. They
reuse clips. They do a few still shots here and there that they use, but But the thing is that scene on the beach,
which isn't uncommon for the scene or for the era, particularly with the TVs with the series.
Right. And the other thing that we get in the second to last episode is, Yuriko goes looking for Tylor again, and she eventually finds him standing outside the dry dock where the Soyokaze is being decommissioned. Tylor basically says to her, why do we never meet? Why is it whenever we run into each other, there's never anywhere romantic? And it ends up with the two of them sort of sitting on the bridge, just her leaning, cuddled together, just sort of sitting there talking and drinking. And it's just beautifully sweet scene between the two of them, where they're Yuriko, all her defenses are down because she knows what Tylor's told her, which is that he's leaving the military. He's done.
Yeah.
And all of the pretense that Tylor keeps up is gone. He's just a dude now. Like, yeah.
He's just this wonderfully
The
sweet
two of them
guy.
completely unguarded.
Yep. And it's just, and the way it's shot and it's lit and it's
Yeah,
animated,
and
it's just this beautiful scene.
it's one of the best scenes I've seen from that era.
Oh, God,
and I'm
yeah.
including movies. Like this, it's really well done.
And basically, Tyler, she says, so, you realize everyone's out looking for you, looking for you, panicked, and he's like, why? He's like, they should just go on and do what they want to do.
Isn't that what I told them?
And
Weren't they listen?
He says that, and she's like, it's basically, okay, guys, just tell them. Did you tell them that this is after she finally told him that he's retiring, and she's like, he said, just tell them, tell them that that's my final order to them. Go out and do what you want. And so, we fast forward to the next episode, and the Admiralty's like, well, Tyler's resigned. I guess we'll give the new ship to Yamamoto, and they give it to Yamamoto, and he's like immensely honored. And they say, yeah, take whatever crew take whoever you have, pick of the fleet for your crew. If you want your people from the Soyokaze, great. You just can't have Yuriko Star.
Yeah, we need her in her position, but you can have anyone else.
And so he goes around, and there's this wonderful bit where he basically is sends out messages to everybody. They've all gone off in their separate ways, and so we get to see what they've been doing away from the military. Kim has become a model, and is at this wonderful scenes where like messengers come up, deliver a letter, in the middle of whatever they're doing. They read the letter, and go, oh, okay, back to working, and such. So she's doing that.
The Doctor and Harumi are now backstreet vets.
Right.
Yes.
Castrating cats.
The pilot dude and the twins, he's like walking, sort of on walkabout, and the twins are following, but he keeps to go away, leave him alone.
Yes.
The Marines have all become fucking fishermen.
With the exception of the lieutenant.
A nude still life model.
Yes. Yeah.
The scene where they deliver the message to Anderson, he's in there in the life drawing class, surrounded by women, completely naked except for literally holding a fig leaf in front of his family jewels. The officer they sent to deliver it as a woman. She hands it up to him. He holds it with both hands. She's right eye level with his junk. He sort of notices, winks at her, goes back to reading it. Huh.
He leaves. The next shot we see is her now as a still life model.
Yes.
Put her in his place.
Oh my god.
Oh, the helmsman.
Yeah,
right. We see a dude. We just see a random dude we've never seen before, bald as a coot, like Buddhist monk,
totally
under a waterfall,
like
meditating.
Shaolin
monk meditating under a waterfall. This message arrives. He looks at it. He's like, "Oh shit!" Reaches into his gi, pulls out a massive blonde wig, and sticks it back in his head. And we're like, "Oh shit, it's him!"
Yes.
So they all regather together on a they're gathered together on a bridge of a ship. They're all doing this thing, and Yamamoto's sitting there talking to them, giving a pep talk. It's a ceremony for launching the new ship. And Yamamoto says, "Okay, and now for the captain to give the command." It cuts over to Tyler because it's entirely been a fake out.
Yes. The best part about it when he's giving that speech is Yamamoto steps up and he's got this big goofy look on his face and he instantly, no, I need to maintain. All right, cool. Gives the speech.
He does have a little squee moment. He stands up, he's like,
Yeah.
And we cut to Tyler wearing sunglasses.
Yeah, he's wearing
chair.
the fucking deal with its shades 20 years before the fucking meme.
And he basically says, "Okay, we're going out of dock. We're taking off." And so, like, they're doing the countdown for the launch of their ship. 1, 0. Bottle breaks. Nothing happens. And then the Soyokaze comes crashing through a wall.
Right, because the entire friggin' space dock starts exploding. You see Yuriko Star sitting there like going, clicking on a keyboard, suppressing alarms.
And apparently, what's been going on is like everybody's been conspiring to on their own recommission the Soyokaze and having it scrapped, and take it back for themselves. They come crashing out of the dock. And
there's a great scene where the Asso is there waiting to be launched, and the Soyokaze just comes in from above and just goes out of the way.
Yes. And the look on, like, Fuji is bordering on apoplectic at this point, and Mifune has this look of just complete resigned. Oh, fucking fuck it.
It's the
Which
first
is
time
totally the opposite for the two of them, honestly.
Right.
It's the first time he's never gone for the sword. He's just like, oh, fine, whatever.
He's got that look of course. And I bet Tyler's at the helm right now. That motherfucker's at the helm right now.
So of course he is.
Yeah, because Yuriko basically she's in the command center or the intelligence center, and she's like, "Yep, I get it now." Turns around to the subordinate. She's like, "It was a pleasure working with you. Bye bye."
Yeah. Yes. Because she's been part of the plan to get the Soyokaze back. She knows they're coming for her because Tyler's first is okay. My first order is we're gonna go get Yuriko now.
And it's literally that's the whole thing behind it. It's like, do what you want to do, and all they want to do is carry on doing what they were doing.
Yes,
I'll get to that in a second. This is the best. So yeah, and my favorite her subordinate in the intelligence center has this wonderful moment. He's like, I really wish I had a chance. I really wish I could have met this guy.
Yeah,
and that's where the show ends.
And you know what? The weird thing about it is that first episode, the bullshit that he fed the guy in the recruitment office,
completely
true.
Yep.
All came fucking true.
Yep. So, my favorite thing about Tyler's order to do what you want. It's an order they can't actually disobey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because if they disobey it, they're doing what they want. Oh my god, yeah, so that's Irresponsible Captain Tylor. Gentlemen, your thoughts. I want to wrap up on this one.
Yeah, we've been going exceptionally long here.
Yeah, so Eric,
Yes.
you first.
Okay. Number one, the animation is remarkable for the period. Like early 90s, like I was not expecting it to be this well animated at all. The show takes a little while getting going, and then hits a lull in the middle. But holy crap, those last few episodes just totally make up for it all. Overall, I really enjoyed the experience, and like I said, great animation, especially for the time.
All right, Gav.
Yeah. So
And the brains are the best.
As my first watch through, yeah, okay, I'll admit, Tyler was frustrating me with just how much, and again, I'll use the phrase Deus Ex Fortuna. Everything was just fucking going his way without any fucking effort. And up until that lull, as you said, in the middle there, the demotion zone, essentially, up until that they come out of there, that's the point where the series picked up for me. Because, yeah, thinking back on it, now I can see where these things dropped into place. And I can see the whole thing where people say, is Tyler an idiot or a genius? And it probably is one of those shows that is better the second time around.
Yeah, I was just thinking that. It's probably much better on a rewatch.
For the first half, if Tyler just infuriated me. I was an admiral, He was just a pain in the ass. I could not stand it. I loved the crew around him. And I liked some of the characters, but he was just a fucking pain in the ass. Until you realise, like you say, a bit further on down the line, when his way of thinking, when his attitude basically starts to create his own look, and then you realise, well, how long has he been doing this? How long has he been creating his own look? Is all this stuff that he's saying? Because like I say, episode 1, the first piece of bullshit out of his mouth, comes fucking true.
Yeah.
And you start to think, it's like, okay, I'll give it credit. I think there was a little bit of and even that, I'm contradicting what I said myself earlier, but I don't know whether they had that in plan from the start. It's such an infuriating character. It's to try and think and unravel. He's probably one of the most complex characters I've ever seen. And yeah, like you say, the animation itself fine, great for its great for its time, especially for its time. And those last few episodes, yeah, fucking stellar. Story, great. And that's the thing. There's very little, and I commented as well. There's very little actual battles in this.
Yep.
There's one or two, but there's very little, actual shots fired. And again, that's it. It's a very intellectual sort of. From that regard, it's a very intellectual series. It looks like a sci-fi romp sort of thing. It looks, on the surface, if you compared it, by the numbers, it could almost be fucking Nadesico.
Yeah.
Almost. But completely more towards the the intellectual side of things rather than the action side of things. And yeah, I'll begrudgingly, by the end of it, yeah, I enjoyed it.
All right, so as I've said before, this is one of my 5 favorite anime series of all time. I fucking adore this show. I think I had less problem with the early parts than Gav did. I think entirely because it's my style of humor. And I just basically I was able to get through the rougher patches of Tylor as a character just because I thought he was hilarious. I was just I was laughing at him and with the crew around him and with the situations and just at the absurdity of everything. And I thought it was just a funny sort of goofy fun show for the first chunk. And then there are a few episodes the Demotion Zone stuff is just not that interesting and there's one really good episode out of the 3 that are folks in the Demotion Zone. The other 2 really just sort of are there, but they have important character moments in them, which is it's annoying. The show is.
I think if I could say, if the only changes that I think it could stand to make with those zones, a little less of the of that slowing down, and it should have refocused I think more on the Ralgons because we didn't see enough of them.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
I absolutely agree.
Yeah, my major.
Where are the Ralgons? Those guys are awesome.
Yeah. My major complaint, and as I said this going Saturday night when we finished watching it, is that we've seen all the politicking and all the rest of it, and yeah, I understand. Like you can't deal with every asshole. Nothing's ever a perfect story, but or real life story isn't a perfect story. But there's no comeuppance, or at least even a hint that Aslin's tired of Wang's bullshit.
Right.
He just, as far as we know, gets off scot-free and carries on and is free to assassinate her again.
Right. At any rate, I want to sort of finishing up.
Sorry, I didn't mean to. Yeah, sorry.
It's all right. So yeah, it's a 26 episode series. Which is par for the course for the early 90s, and honestly, it probably could have been 23, 24. And I think it would have been a little bit tighter paced. The Railgun disappeared in the middle, which is unfortunate. But the second they come out of the Demotion Zone, the show does this very slight pivot and goes from just being a pure comedy to being just this. It's still hysterically funny throughout the whole show. It's one of the funniest shows I've seen. I laugh a lot when I'm watching it. It's my second favorite comedy anime. And then it gets into the point where he's taken prisoner by the Ralgon, and the show just takes up another notch from there. And then we have the fleet battle, and then we have those final 3 episodes. It's just coded a series that it changes tonally.
Uh-oh. We lost a Peter.
I cut out there.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay, that was Peter, not me again. Okay.
It changes tone.
Yeah, the series changes tone. Sorry about that. And it's still funny, but it's got this sort of melancholy to it alongside it for a while. And it really feels like... That was
the word I was looking for. I was going to say maudlin, but that's not right.
And you're sitting there going, it's sort of got this sort of very slight bit of, Tylor, sort of like, almost the way Gurren Lagann ended with Simone wandering off, disappearing to nothingness.
Yes.
And then psych! Nope!
Yeah. Yes.
It's like,
yes, I like that, yeah.
Just, wait, what? Oh, okay then. So yeah, that's Irresponsible Captain Tylor. As I said, it's one of my 5 favorite series. And as I said, and it's my second favorite comedy series. That means there's another comedy series in my top 5, which we have not covered yet.
We have mentioned it repeatedly.
What? No, never. So Eric is got the next recommendation. Do you have your recommendation yet, Eric?
I think, I'm sort of oscillating back and forth between two, both of which are relatively recent. And I'm going to flip a coin right now.
Okay.
So whichever one he picks now, you'll know which the next one is after that.
All right. That one just got flung several feet in the wrong direction. Hold on.
Flip. Failed. Reflip.
All right, we are doing Rage of Bahamut Genesis.
All right, Rage of Bahamut
Which is
Genesis.
about 3 times as good as the title would make you think.
So that next episode, next time when we come back, we'll be doing Rage of Bahamut Genesis. Thank you guys so much for watching. It's a long episode, but there's a lot. This show has a lot to talk about in it, honestly.
Yeah.
Thanks again for listening. I hope everybody enjoyed it, and we will see you guys next time. Thanks, everybody.
Bye.
Bye-bye.